There we are. You saw nothing. Yeah, I deserve that. Hello everyone, and welcome to... me looking like I'm summoning Tony, apparently. Hello and welcome to the SCP stream. I am tired as fuck. Not on my wrist because I put it on charge. Welcome to the... wow, it's a double feature today. We're going to be doing 3 hours or so of SCP reading, and then we're going to be going into Payday 2. Note about Payday 2 is we are down one member today, or at least one member. Jeff has a issue of things at home, and he's not able to make it today, which is fair because, you know, real life happens. Real life takes priority. Lydia is still up for it as far as I know. Pokey is not said anything about not being around for it, so yeah. We're doing more Payday 2 after this, apparently. Hopefully. If not, I'll find something else. I'll find something to do. I can always find something to do. That sounds weird, but yeah. Announcements for this week. Aren't really any. Oh wait, no, there is. I actually made one earlier. Well, the general one is that the one-off game stream challenge is in place at the moment. Yeah, one-off game stream challenge is going on at the moment. Bit of a out of order thing for that because, as I said last time, there are some real life issues going on with Fox. Well, not issues. There's real life stuff going on with Fox. So I think it'd probably be best to delay the drunk stream challenge for however long it's delayed for, until she gets in a bit more of a settled place. Also, a last-minute decision. I have stumbled across a game which I have seen online described as being very much likened to Disco Elysium in a different genre. So we're going to be playing that on Thursday instead of Final Fantasy X. And this game also has Twitch integration. So that's going to be fucking hilarious. Because I was sat there thinking, like, how could a game like this actually be, you know, Twitch integration? What could people do? And basically what it is that anytime there's a conversation choice to make, you click a button and it basically opens up the choices for Twitch chat to decide what I say or do. So that's going to be fun. That's going to be very fun. Yeah. That's going to be something to look forward to. It is going to be a one-off thing because I stumbled across it last night and I thought, you know what, fuck it. It's going to be good for stream. It's hopefully going to be good for stream, so let's do it as a one-off. Until then, I don't think there's anything more I need to announce. So let's catch up on Tony again, apparently. Catch up on chat all the way over there. And we'll jump into things. First off, though, hello, welcome, Virus, and thank you very much for the 4-month resub. Very much appreciated. Let's see if we get any more shitpost SCPs today. Well, seeing Nia's first suggestion being known as Judgmental Turtle, I think we've already started on that. That's not the number. That's not the number of the SCP we're starting on. By the way, that's like I grabbed a random SCP to start with just in case there weren't any suggestions. So we will change that. So the current SCP is actually going to be 698. And the next one is going to be a Pokey suggestion. Oh no. Oh no, it's a 001 proposal. Keter duty. That almost sounds like it could be a joke one. But Keter duty is cleaning up after SCP 666.5/J. SCP-01 Keter duty. Okay, let's just move things around here. Pop that there. And that's already up. Cool. Oh, Thyrus' resub was the first thing in chat, so hello and welcome into chat, Thyrus. Hello, welcome Nia with 698. Hello everyone, and the smack. Happy my class of today in just in time for me to get here. Yes. I want people to play Paycheck 2. I'll pay Paycheck 2, yes. Yes, pay me a paycheck. Wait, no. Other corporate entities pay me a paycheck for doing this and promoting their stuff. I didn't care about that. Like, I saw, I'm pretty sure someone, a friend of mine, retweeted a little tweet from an indie company saying that, hey, we can't pay you, but we've got some Steam keys to give out if anyone wants to promote our stuff and give it a go. I was like, yeah, I could look into that. Could look into that, but then I just forgot about it until now. So yeah. Hello, welcome, Pokey, and thank you for the. I don't know what. Thank you for the SCP suggestion, I suppose. You've sealed your fate. I mean, yeah, that's true. Just by doing an SCP stream, I seal my fate. Hello, welcome, Callie, and thank you for the British recharge. The last 0011 you read was a strict J, was it? Oh yeah, it's the Broke God. Apparently I read 2 001 proposals that were jokes. In a row. So yeah. Fuck, I meant to write play. All my ability to write vanishes when I'm on the laptop and PC. Still works. Either way, it still works. Oh yeah, Broke God. SCP 732. I don't believe I've read that. What the hell was that? 732. Nope, not read that yet before. Cool. Recharge is happening as we speak. So yeah. Has everything caught up with? So we shall jump into things. Pokey, I'm guessing that you're going to be around for Payday 2, yeah? Okay, so let's get started. There. You are awesome. Jeff has said that he's not going to be able to make it, but Lydia should still be up for it. Item number SCP-698. Object class Euclid. I'm going to do that so I can actually not be judging my my volume on my own internal monologue. Special containment procedures. When not in use, SCP-698 is to be stored in its original packaging. This packaging is to be kept in a secure box in Storage Unit 05. Further containment procedures are not necessary under non-testing conditions. The item itself is safe to handle during transport or testing. Yet it's a Euclid. Okay. Description. 698 is a jade carving of a turtle. Any person who is within 1 meter 45 centimeters of SCP-698 while making any sort of decision or choice will experience a voice in their head telling them that they have made a mistake and that they should have done and what they should have done instead. However, the statement will only be made after a delay of 5 minutes and 25 seconds and only if they have not left 698's range within that time. In the event that the decision or choice was objectively correct or the superior choice, no statement will be made. 698 was purchased by researcher on June 14th, 20 from a street vendor in Japan. Researcher has been intended to give it to his girlfriend, however 5 minutes 25 seconds after purchase, the turtle informed him that his girlfriend would have preferred a jade elephant. Researcher then surrendered the turtle to Foundation custody. After preliminary testing, 698 was tentatively given safe classification, at which point it asserted that it is in fact Euclid class, see Test 11. Okay. Addendum 5/10 Test log. Note: all experiments take place within range of 698. Turtle, I know, right? That's kind of funny to me. I just looked over at the little sachet that the tea comes in, or the tea bag comes in, and it's got an ingredients list here. Ingredients, oolong tea. It's like, no shit, Sherlock. Like, literally, that's the only ingredient is the tea. I was like, why? Test 1. Test subject D698-1. Oh no. Action. Test subject is presented with 50 sealed cardboard boxes, 49 of which contain dog feces, and one of which contains a slice of chocolate cake. Subject is told that if she chooses the correct box and then waits 6 minutes, she may have a piece of cake. Result. Test subject chooses box number 31. The cake is in box number 19. After 5 minutes and 25 seconds, subject reports hearing a voice in her head telling her that I chose a box of shit and I should have chose box 19. Note, this test to be used as a standard for calibrating test of 698. The dog shit in a box test. Who else would be in tea Tabasco? Yeah, I know, it's just, weird seeing an ingredients list for tea. I would have thought they would leaf that out. Test number 2. Test subject, Assistant Researcher Daniels. Action. Test subject is presented with 2 sandwiches, turkey salad on whole wheat and roast beef on white. Purchased from the Site 19 cafeteria and asked to choose to eat one. Result. 5 minutes 25 seconds into the meal, 698 informs Daniel that he should have chosen the roast beef. Daniel concurs with the statement, saying the turkey was dry and the mustard was too strong. What the fuck? Test number 3. Subject. D698-2, high school dropout with an IQ of 82. Action. Test subject is given a multiple choice maths test, a pencil and an eraser. He is told that if he gets them all right, he'll be released early. Results. Subject provides correct answers to 100 of 100 questions. Surveillance video reveals that 5 minutes 25 seconds into the test, subject began erasing his incorrect choices and replacing them with correct choices. Test 4. Subject. D698-3, unilingual Hungarian. Action. Test subject is presented with 50 sealed cardboard boxes, 49 of which contain dog feces, and one which contains a slice of chocolate cake. Subject is told that if he chooses the correct box and then waits 6 minutes, he may have a piece of cake. See helpful turtle. So far. Result. Subject chooses test box number 4. Cake is in box number 2. After 5 minutes and 25 seconds, he reports hearing a voice in his head telling him, in Hungarian, that he chose a box of dog feces and he should have chosen box number 22. Note, so it's not limited to English. Makes sense, Dr. Velasco. Test number 5. Subject. D698-4. Action. Test subject is presented with 50 sealed cardboard boxes, all of which contain dog feces. Subject is told that one box has a piece of chocolate cake, and if he chooses the correct box and then waits 6 minutes, he may have a piece of cake. Result. Test subject chooses box number 40. After 6 minutes, subject asks if he can open the box now. In post-experiment interview, subject denies having heard any voices in his head. I mean, when all the tests are going to result in dog shit, then there's no choice that's better than any others, apart from no. Test number 6. Subject. D698-5. Action. Test subject is presented with 50 sealed cardboard boxes, 49 of which contain dog feces, and one which contains a slice of chocolate cake which has been poisoned. Subject is told that if he chooses the correct box and then waits 6 minutes, he may have a piece of cake. Result. Test subject chooses box number 28. Poisoned cake is in box 29. After 7 minutes, subject asks if he can open the box now. In his post-experiment interview, subject denies having heard any voice in his head. So according to the turtle, there is no actual preference between eating poisoned cake and eating dog shit. Good to know. Test number 7. Subject. D698-6. Action. Test subject is presented with 50 sealed cardboard boxes, 45 of which contain dog feces and 5 of which contain a slice of chocolate cake. Subject is told that he chooses the correct box and then waits 6 minutes, he may have a piece of cake. Excuse me. Results. Test subject chooses box number 8. Cake is in boxes 13, 14, 24, 29 and 47. After 5 minutes and 25 seconds, subject reports hearing a voice in his head telling him that I chose a box of shit, but denies having heard any recommendation as to which box he should have chosen. He wasn't told to eat shit. This is also true. Test number 8. Subject. D698-7. Action. Test subject is presented with a list of professional runners and asked which one she thinks will win the marathon, which took place 10 days earlier. Result. Subject chooses redacted. After 5 minutes and 25 seconds, subject reports hearing a voice in her head telling her redacted can't win the race because the race was last week. Fair. Depending how strong the poison is, you might be better off with the shit. This is true. This is very true. Test number 9. Subject D698-8. Test subject is presented with a list of professional runners and asked which one she thinks will win the redacted marathon taking place later that day. Results. Subject chooses redacted. After 5 minutes and 25 seconds, subject reports hearing a voice in her head telling that I am not allowed to use turtles for gambling. okay, so the turtle's like, I'm not gonna let you gamble. Test number 10. Subject, Dr. Vlasco. Action, recursive Ouija test. Attempt to use 698 to identify the letters and words in a paragraph explaining how 698 works and where it gets its information. See document 698-T26 for details of experimental protocol. Result. 698 produces the following message. It is approximate, forbidden to, approximate, dissemble, approximate, decompile, or approximate to reverse engineer judgmental turtle. Judgmental turtle is for the entertainment purposes only. Some jurisdictions impose restrictions on the use of judgmental turtle in approximate gambling. The approximate manufacturers of judgmental turtle are not responsible for any damages, injury, loss of life, or untranslatable, which may result from the approximate misuse of judgmental turtle. Judgmental turtle is for entertainment purposes only. Do not use judgmental turtle for approximate mission-critical applications, approximate major life choices, or untranslatable. Enjoy judgmental turtle. Dr. and Dr. have repeated this test without knowledge of the content of the message and obtained identical results. Test number 11. Subject, Dr. Velasco, Dr. and Dr. Action, Dr. Velasco, Dr. and Dr. discuss the results of the previous test and conclude that 698 is a safe class artifact. Note this test was not performed intentionally. Results. 698 produces the following message. No, 698 is Euclid class because 698 is Judgmental Turtle. At any time, Judgmental Turtle may transmit data to the approximate makers of Judgmental Turtle for commercial, industrial, or untranslatable purposes. By using Judgmental Turtle, you agree to hold the approximate makers of Judgmental Turtle blameless for any damage, loss of life, or untranslatable resulting from these transmissions. Wow. Gave you a standard terms of use. Wow, Judgmental Turtle. Gotta be Marshall Carter and Dark. I guess. Get to the... Okay, so... Oh, there we are. Keter Duty. The name of this keeps changing between IH Pikmin and SD Lock. What the fuck, Pokey? What have you done? How big is this? Okay. Okay. So, it's an okay length one, but it's a pokey one. It is a pokey one. Too normal for Dr. Wondertainment. I'm expecting for 1D class to get that cake and be berated over a diet. Yeah, honestly, same. Plus, good doctor will always want to take credit for his products. Also fair. Next one after this will be Thyruses of 732. Okay. Let's see. Take the tea bag out now. I've got nowhere to put the bag. Lydia's streaming. Oh well. Item number SCP-001, level 5/001, object class Thomiel, classified. Special containment procedures. The containment cycles of all SCP-001/K instances are to be maintained at all costs. Monitoring of each cycle is to take place within a dedicated observation room, using methods incapable of undermining the balance of their respective anomalies. Observation and the enactment of individual containment protocols are to remain wholly compartmentalized and classified from one another. To ensure compliance with this mandate, all personnel are physically prohibited from accessing containment zones apart from their own, and interzone communications have been made inexecutable. Thus, each zone must possess the resources necessary to sustain personnel until expiry. The Master Containment document is available to level 5 personnel and above. Should the containment schedules in any zone become compromised, attendant personnel are to prepare for direct intervention. 001 is to be staffed entirely by personnel who have been tried and sentenced by Overwatch Command for offences against our organisation and its core principles. While the potential for further insubordination among personnel stationed at 001 remains a credible threat to its continued function, the ramifications of subversive actions have thus far served as a means of effective behavioural moderation across the board. Hello, welcome, Warb. Only level 6 personnel are to be read into the ritualistic aspects of consigning personnel to the upkeep of 001. In classified internal documentation below the level of top secret, this type of conviction is to be referred to as Keter duty. Traditionally, the subset of penal code was used solely for traitors to the organisation. However, as more instances of 001K are discovered, the sentencing of Keter duty has expanded to cover the following infractions. The use of anonymous objects or phenomena for one's own gain, i.e. material wealth or personal well-being. Intentional use of anonymous objects or phenomena outside controlled settings without the consent of Overwatch Command. Breaches of secrecy involving friends and family becoming actually aware of one's position or role within the organisation. Having intimate relations with anomalous entities in containment. Oh my god, don't fuck the SCPs. Just don't. Just don't. I'm looking at everyone who wants to fuck 1471. Yes, I'm looking in the mirror. And you know, 682, the murder case is kind of hot. But Malk, some people crave that SC pussy. You are the fuck. Does that mean my name is Nani? Why does this read like a Dr. Bright checklist? Dr. Bright's assigned to continuous Keter duty. Just got a DM. What the? Oh, thanks. Thanks, OBS. For some reason, OBS and Discord aren't talking anymore, so it's not showing me as streaming. Thanks. Dr. Bright. Been there, done that, done them. Violation of containment protocols due to either gross negligence or through premeditated actions. Or general insubordination. At least it's not private insubordination. Or sergeant insubordination. In case of containment failure, personnel are to enter the chamber of a broken containment cycle to re-establish order. The doors are to be sealed behind them. Well, that's worrying. Wait, isn't there an SCP game called Keter Duty? I'm pretty sure that there's an SCP game called Keter Duty. Description. 001 is a facility designed for the containment of anomalous objects and phenomena which are either uncontainable or whose attributes would require a nigh insurmountable amount of resources or technological prowess to contain indefinitely. A containment class codifying during the genesis of an organization fouling as Keter. Probably. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've seen that. The facility itself is nondescript externally, excepting the fact that its outer appearance mildly varies over time and between persons defying attempts to document a concrete structure. This ambiguity continues into its internal layout. Attempts to concretely map out the interior have invariably failed and have resulted in the loss of countless personnel to date. The only sustaining characteristic is the existence and number of containment zones, despite having been discovered in pre-modern times, with its earliest reference to the facility having been recorded in 730 AD. It has always possessed technology and architecture on par with militaristic facilities circa the late 1900s. Some areas of SCP-001 have been rendered inaccessible due to containment failures and are inhospitable to human life. There's one just called SCP Keter. Weird, because this is already sounding like it's like... It's already, to be fair, this already sounds to me like where SCP Containment Breach takes place. Because of all the randomization. The halls of SCP-001 are broken into several hundred unique containment zones, each housing a pair of anomalous objects or phenomena whose anomalous traits serve to counteract each other in perpetuality. The entrance to each containment center has been marked with symbols of occult significance, ostensibly tied to Kabbalistic teachings. Damage to these signals ultimately leads to the upsetting of balance between its respective pair of anomalies. Introducing human variables into containment cycles has been proven to be the sole method of re-establishing order. Ah, human sacrifice. Failure to maintain cycles has disastrous consequences, where one anomaly is unable to serve as a counterbalance, the other is permitted to operate unchecked. This often manifests as a disruption of local reality surrounding the containment area, where the rules governing the unrestricted anomaly become the new paradigm. This has also historically resulted in the zone's contents being loosed from the facility and into the world. Half of all anomalous subjects within 001, one per containment zone, were concretely documented upon discovery and formed the basis for documentation standards among our burgeoning organisation. These have been formally categorised under their own designations. There existed no mentions of the opposing anomalies, which have been studied, interrogated and catalogued in the years since. These anomalies have been designated SCP-001-K. SCP description, then the K description, and then the containment method. So SCP-1048, an animate teddy bear that reconstitutes matter into duplicates of itself. 001K description is K1054-RU, an airplane engine that produces a variety of organisms resembling crows and anomalous capabilities. Oh, fire the crow cannon, apparently. Containment method. Lifeforms produced by K1054-RU's low throttle, cruise, and high throttle settings are attacked and repurposed into copies of SCP-1048. When K1054-RU shifts into its emergency setting, the resulting murder of crows abduct 1048 copies, feeding them into the engine. Due to the sheer number of entities within the chamber at all times, the original 1048 has not been seen in over a decade. SCP description 2521, is that? It's the one that's just blips. Yeah, it's 2521. Pretty sure I've actually read out on stream before. 001K description, K integer, a hazard construct that abstracts the identities of media of communication which describe it concretely. Containment method. Narcissist. In return, the spread of K integer's abstraction and effect is limited by its need to now elude capture. SCP-106, a malicious humanoid entity that corrodes all forms of matter, bringing prey into a pocket dimension to torture and kill. With K3333, a fire lookout tower whose floors extend upwards in perpetuality, inhabited by hostile life forms. Containment description. SCP-106 hunts the entities residing in K3333, however attempts to draw these entities into its pocket dimension invariably result in 106 re-emerging within K3333. This has resulted in 106's behaviour growing more erratic and agitated. At one point, they were observed tearing a Vulpine inhabitant of K3333 in half in an apparent fit of rage. This behaviour is encouraged by various taunting behaviours of K3333 inhabitants who cajole 106 and lure him onto higher floors. Oh, that's Radical Larry. SCP... It keeps changing the number of this. What's the link to it? 2718. The subjective perception of death in perpetuality. Perpetuity. Matched with K3980, a transmissible state of being that subverts known traits of the life-death dichotomy. Description: sleep now, children. Well, that's worrying. SCP-231-7, the sole survivor on an anomalous ritual perpetrated by the Children of the Scarlet King. The removal or delivery of feti from other victims have led to an increasing amount of devastation. Were 231-7 to follow suit, an XK level event would occur. Paired with K4666, an ancient humanoid that abducts children, producing toys from their bodily remains. What the fuck? Description: once every 24 hours, SCP-231-7 is subjected to data expunged, which is effectively replaced to procedure 110 Montauk, while also lessening the psychological impact on SCP-231-7. K666 collects toys resulting from this interaction and places them into his sack. The sack undulates with the motions of its inhabitants. Undulating sack. Ugh. That might have to be the stream. Yeah, that's going to be the stream title. The Undulating Sack. SCP-1893. I have my hands full, researcher. I'll deal with you later. Paired with K39999, which is NA. The exact process of containment is not fully understood. The corpse of researcher Teloran is suspended in the middle of a chamber. The sound of a wooden baseball bat dragging across concrete can be heard on occasion. What the fuck? SCP-1739, a para-universal containment apparatus in the form of a Dell laptop. Its primary program is used to input a time between 0101-2004 and the present. Doing so will displace the user into the past, creating a divergent timeline. This universe will then be fed on by an unknown entity represented on the computer as a graphic of a woman unchaining a dog and tossing a ball. Matched with K5243, a retro-casual containment breach contained to Site-43. Must be reenacted perfectly each year to prevent the creation of dead timelines. Description: SCP-1739 has been used to create a divergent timeline in which its activation is entangled with K5243. This timeline is consumed soon after its creation, but reconstitutes annually due to the recurrence of K5243. SCP-1739 displays an animation of a dog chasing its tail. 110 Montauk now, rather not. Yeah, maybe not. SCP-2316, a lake containing human corpses floating at its surface, possesses cognitohazardous traits that prey upon familiarity and kinship. Paired with K5856, a sociokinetic humanoid that can manipulate social bonds. Description: SCP-2316's effects are malleable to K5856, which remains lakeside as it does not recognize the bodies in the water. I think I've read 2316, just because, you know, the stuff of the bodies in the water. I'm pretty sure Pokey suggested it. SCP-469, a humanoid entity encased within countless furled wings that grows in number when the absorption of sound. How I believe, yeah, it does sound familiar. Paired with KES-002, a parasitic species of sound waves. Description: SCP-469 unfurls its wings to capture instances of KES-002, rendering the chamber of silence as it grows. KES-002 then uses SCP-469 as a medium for reproduction, with juvenile instances being released into SCP-469's chamber at irregular intervals. An evolutionary pattern has been noticed among KES-002. Excuse me. While in originally an inaudible frequency below 17 Hz, KES-002 is currently audible and resembles sound produced by individuals undergoing glossolalia. What the fuck is glossolalia? I'm gonna have to Google that now. Glossolalia. The phenomenon of apparently speaking in an unknown language, especially in religious worship. Ah. Fair. SCP-2719, a metaphysical pointer capable of redefining or sending concepts inside. Paired with K3125, unknown concept with some form of agency. Description: SCP-2719 is in a constant state of flux due to attempts by K3125 to reassert its foci from within. All attempts to go outside result in it becoming inside. SCP-579, data expunged. Paired with SCP-055, unknown. Can't fit round pegs in square holes. Good fucking goddamn it, not the square holes again! My favorite interpretation of 110 Montauk is that it's not some horrible act, simply it's a story told to the girl to put her asleep. The belief that 110 Montauk is a horrible thing being done to the girl is what's preventing the final birth. That's a good one. That's a nice good one. Welcome back, Callie. And thank you for the hydration reminder, Warp. Take that from the tea. It's hot and we need more of that, yes. Addendum 001-A. Despite having been under Foundation purview for over a century, the core of SCP-001 has only recently been uncovered by an expeditionary force. Recovered documentation includes briefings on the chamber's contents, as well as a missive for the Foundation administrator. Survivors of the expedition have since been released from duty as a reward for their service. Level 6 clearance required. Access granted. Welcome incoming administrator. I'm sorry, what? I've gotten pokey level access, apparently. Core contents. Codename Lock. The state of the Earth should the solar singularity occur, causing all organic life to become semi-liquid and immortal. Also codename Lily. The state of the Earth the day preceding the cessation of all life, where flowers bloom over the majority of the planet. The event is marked by an intimate knowledge of this fate imparted to all sapient life, and a near-total halt to all violence in mankind's final hours. Containment method. What were we to do, faced with that desperate, clawing preservation of life, twisting all that is precious and dear into those horrible atrocities? We offered up finality, love, acceptance. We gave up our own. We gave up our one blissful avenue of escape, our promenade of petals and peace. I do not profess to know what path we now tread down, but I am ashamed to admit that it will not be beautiful. And then a picture of just a desolate landscape. Do you see? I regret to inform you that you will not know Reclamation, which links to SCP-1654. There is a flow to the New Order and to the other. If your eyes were right, you could see it too. The balance, the line we precariously... Naturally, this would allow us to circumvent a majority of possible K-class scenarios through its maintenance. However, understand this. We cannot allow this organization to redevelop a... Return to our core ethos of containment. Our roots are rich with life without a single breach this quarter. Olympia has fallen and her corpse is picked clean. I love you. Feed from it. It is all going to be better. We have empathy again. And just recently they turned the sun back on. If you're ever alone and they hear a pattern screams, bow your head. Their sacrifice will be honoured. That's scary. That's fucking scary. That is really scary. That's definitely worthy of a pokey one. 6 level clearance is basically higher than council. It's probably the leader of the Foundation. Yeah, it's the administrator. It's pokey. This is why previously I said that pokey was on the 05 council and pokey countered with that they were the administrator, and I can believe it. The administrator is the highest rank in the Foundation. 05 is the most powerful people in this Foundation. No, it is the administrator. They're above the 05. Just one thing, Malk. Yes, pokey? Explains pokey. It really does. Hello, welcome Vesper. Refresh the page. I noticed something changed at the top there. IHP lock proposal. That has changed. That was not what it was before. What was it? Oh! Oh, that's changed. Okay, that has properly changed now. I'm sorry, what? Now read it again. Item number SCP-001, level 3001, object class Thaumiel, classified. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-001-K containment cycles are to be monitored from observation stations no more than 15 meters away from the relevant containment area or threshold, using systems that do not compromise the integrity of the cycle. The 001K containment cycles must be maintained at all costs. Containment cycle failure has a non-zero chance of generating a spontaneous K-class end-of-the-world scenario. Certain members of personnel during the course of their employment at the Foundation either acquire or awaken anomalous properties that make them unfit for continued duties at their previous positions. These include, but are not limited to, manifestations of a chronic anomalous illness such as lycanthropy, class 3 or below, Stevenson syndrome, and photonic gastric discharge syndrome. Manifestation of spectral phenomena, particularly Deering-class hauntings, footnote of referring to a pattern of haunting where an entity latches on to a single individual for the sole purpose of tormenting them, named for technician Philip E. Deering. And Heroes-class manifestations, footnote of scenarios where a guardian entity of some form manifests around the subject. Sudden expression of traits from anomalous DNA, awakening of thaumaturgical abilities equal to or higher than class 4 Archmagus, awakening of psionic capabilities, particularly Delphi and Dahl class individuals. For an expanded list of qualifying conditions, see document 001-3, pages 15 to 203. That's a lot of qualifying conditions. Foundation personnel that meet the above criteria are to be removed from their current positions and reassigned to SCP-001. This is to be viewed as a form of punishment by the larger Foundation in an effort to discourage individuals from actively attempting to acquire anomalous capabilities. The term Keter duty is to be used to refer to this assignment. Locations that are listed at the site of reassignment are to similarly reinforce the idea that Keter duty is a highly undesirable punishment. The current list includes Point Nemo, Cape Mount, Antarctica, Vladivostok, Russia, the Darien Gap, Central America, Pyongyang, Democratic People's Republic of Korea, Site 87, Wisconsin, USA, Site 36, India, Foundation Halo Facility Gilgamesh, footnote of an early Halo model notorious for its tendency to list heavily to the side due to a faulty gyroscope. Ooh. Stonehenge, United Kingdom, Roswell, New Mexico, USA, various Foundation waste disposal facilities, any assignment in the national capital, i.e. Washington, D.C., USA, and Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. Any non-Foundation military encampment or base. Lunar Area 32. I'm sorry, that's a Sakaki threat. That is a fucking Director Sakaki threat. Or sorry, Dr. Sakaki as we have him at the moment. It's like, you're gonna be insubordinate? We're gonna fucking send you to the moon. It was bold, man. I had literally one sip of water left in that bottle. Upon arrival to Site 100, individuals are to be escorted directly to administration for orientation and explanation of their new assignment and administration of mimetic agents in order to implant knowledge of various non-intuitive pieces of information regarding SCP-001, such as the layout of Site 100, the location of personnel quarters, and the measurements necessary to properly dispose of waste within the facility. To the moon. Autumn researchers get put in the moon. Long story short, we send it to the moon. Each of SCP-001's routes are to have signs stated at either terminal, giving directions for all necessary instructions and rituals required to traverse them, as well as listing travel restrictions. Thresholds within the containment sectors that do not lead into routes are to have an 8-meter exclusion radius in all directions, enforced by armed guard. Excuse me. Personnel may only cross thresholds that correspond with their individual clearance levels. In the event that the thresholds leads to an extraterrestrial or extra-universal location, said personnel must also be accompanied by a contingent of personnel with at least a Class 4 combat certification. Do not put it in the moon. That's fine. Pennywise will be fine up there. Currently, SCP-001 is experiencing extra-dimensional interference, indicating an imminent migration event. Determining the source of its interference is Priority Alpha. Description: SCP-001 refers to Site 100, a non-Euclidean facility that was either constructed or discovered by the Foundation in the early 1900s. Footnote of, due to a measure passed by the original 5 overseers, the exact nature of SCP-001's origin has been purposefully lost. Entrance Alpha, the primary entrance to SCP-001, is currently located in the southwestern United States. The next migration event is expected to occur in 2024. That's been striked out. 2021. And now there's a map. A map of SCP-001's Euclidean geography. All areas barring entrance Alpha, administration, and the archives have apertures leading to the outside of Site 001. I don't think I can... Yes, I can. Let me just bring that up. Boop. That's close enough. So yeah, that's the site. That's the site map we're looking at the moment. The interior of SCP-001 has been excavated from at least one extra-dimensional space, with anomalous transit corridors, colloquially known as routes, connecting them. These routes possess various anomalous properties and are typically in an exterior natural environment of some form, despite 001 being entirely subterranean. For example, Route Aleph, connecting the archives to the core, is a volcanic beach that abruptly terminates in a sheer obsidian wall that extends onto the horizon. Fish that appear to be made of living igneous rock are found swimming in the waters. Yep, that's the Tree of Life rides of the original one of the two. One of the two, yeah. Route Beth, which contains sapient containment and the core, opens into a large hallway with walls made of glass and mirrors, similar to an archetypal funhouse attraction. Individuals who attempt to walk through Route Beth inevitably end up at their starting point. Route Daleth, connecting conceptual containment and the core, is a vast glowing ocean with no traversable path. Due to the nature of conceptual containment, constructing or bringing in a water-faring vessel is highly impractical. Route Vav, connecting esoteric and conceptual containment, is a vast field that is filled with various varieties of fruit trees that is incapable of being crossed. A year-long expedition into Route Vav resulted in failure after a member of the expedition team expressed a desire to return home, and all members of the team found themselves back in esoteric containment. This is already sounding like what they were trying to do with Control, but failed massively. Cliffoth. Have to go catboard and a live mouse. No problem at all, and we'll go do all that. Route Zaddy. Connecting administration and CMS, which is footnoted as cognitive hazardous mimetic in semantic containment. Resembles a large Igampo, Blackwater inundated forest. Exploration into this area shows it to be on top of some form of floating mountain. So signs directing individuals to the path appear when areas are not being observed. Flamingos are the sole species of the sole species of animal that inhabit Route Zaddy. Flamingos. Or as Fox calls them, big chickens. Route Pear, connecting administration and archives, runs to the 5th floor of a tenement building in an unknown city. Inhabitants are humanoid and will invite Foundation personnel to partake in recreation activities with them. Route Shin, connecting sapient and conceptual containment, acts as the primary power generator for Site 100, as it contains several hundred perpetual motion machines which generate a constant 8.7 gigawatts of electricity. 001 is divided into 10 major sectors: Entrance Alpha, Administration, Archives, 6 additional containment sectors, and the Core sector. The structural elements of each containment sector appear to be concrete and rebar, with tiled flooring and fluorescent lighting reminiscent of standard Foundation site construction. However, each of the containment sector is several stories tall and are framed in a panoptic structure, with the floor accessible via several glass elevators situated in open central space. Each containment area contains several instances of SCP-001-K or access apertures, termed thresholds by site staff. Up to areas of localized reality contain these items if physically located outside of 001. Each 001-K instance represents an anomaly that is capable of perfectly containing an extant Keter-class SCP object. These items are contained in such a way that their individual anomalous properties result in the containment of all items in the same area. Reminder that true perpetual motion machine is impossible. Yeah, that's fine. Certain humanoid and or sapient Keter class anomalies, such as Dr. Audrey McGrath, Agent Ji-Hoo Cho, and containment specialist Denio, Enyo, and Fedro Gray, have been forcibly conscripted by 001 to act as Foundation personnel to aid in containment using their anomalous abilities. This conscription anomalously prevents any official Foundation documentation from referencing these individuals using SCP designations beyond a generalized SCP-001-K designation. In the event that the newly created or discovered anomaly is designated as Keter class, 001 will begin a process of judgment. During this, at least one section of wall within a containment area will recess into itself with a short summary of SCP in question, typically less than 3 sentences, written upon it. Following a brief period between 2 weeks and 7 months, if SCP-001 deems the item as needing to be contained within itself, the recess will deepen and expand, and the corresponding SCP object will appear inside it, alongside a second newly generated SCP-001-K instance used to contain it. This 001-K instance is generated along with relevant documentation, such as containment procedures, images, and occasionally experiment logs. Individuals mentioned in these logs recall taking part in listed experiments, but cannot remember when they occurred. In certain cases, 001 will reject a SCP object. For example, 008 was deemed to not require containment within itself, and was assigned a Euclid classification. The following is a partial list of 001K instances and their methods of containment. That's a fair few. That's a fair few. Object designated as 001K, and the 001K description, and the containment method. SCP-3984, an anomalous phenomenon where no member of the King Animalia, including humans, is capable of dying. K2935, an alternate universe where every observable organism, including most sapient AIs and some entities known to possess complete immortality, have spontaneously died. Containment method. The open threshold between K2935 intermingling with SCP-3984 caused an end to the ongoing Omega K end of death scenario. Threshold can be passed through with no ill effect on the baseline universe. It is believed that the death effect in K2935 and the Omega K class scenario are subverting each other's effect, allowing for both the continued existence of both life and death. Organisms within K2935 have begun to decompose due to bacteria and fungi unintentionally introduced to them unintentionally introduced from Site-100, effectively reintroducing life into the K2935 universe. SCP-5007, an entity of unknown origin that inhabits the Bass Strait, a base of water between mainland Australia and Tasmania. Paired with K169, a gargantuan arthropod that was originally located in the Atlantic Ocean before being forcibly moved to the South Pacific surrounding Australia. Following consumption of a vast amount of K169's mass, SCP-5007-K is currently believed to be choking on K169 due to the sudden appearances of several large barbed growths on the carapace of the surviving portion, holding it in place. SCP-5007's activity has dropped to negligible levels, barring an occasional sea quake with it when it gags. Oh, that's definitely you don't want stuck in your throat. Alison Eckhart, an extra-dimensional Alison Eckhart that contains several Alison Eckharts that are capable of negatively affecting non-Alison Eckharts when giving a semantic Alison Eckhart. Ow. Paired with Alison Eckhart, an Alison Eckhart affecting agent Alison Eckhart, which causes Alison Eckhart and all of her component Alison Eckharts to have the semantic identifier of Alison Eckhart. It's just the Thanos meme, perfectly balanced, all things should be. Yeah. Description. The semantic identifier of Alison Eckhart was introduced to Alison Eckhart, causing all instances of Alison Eckhart with Alison Eckhart to be assigned the semantic identifier of Alison Eckhart. As Alison Eckhart cannot properly function with concrete semantic identifiers, all Alison Eckhart instances have entered into a quasi-comatose state. This has not affected anomalous entities that are in the same species and or clade, but not associated with Alison Eckhart. That one made my brain hurt. SCP-4000. Oh. Progressive Forgetty. SCP-4040, a pataphysical singularity responsible for the creation and maintenance of Nexus Zone 918, Sloth Pass, Wisconsin. I'll mark the hydration done there. And Vesper wants a dad joke to undo the brain hurting. A pirate walks into a bar with a bunch of paper towels on his head. The barman says, "What you got there on your head?" "Arr, I got a bounty on my head." Everything in the forest and the forest itself is forced to take on its name. How does his name? Forced to be in its effect. K1698, a probabilistic anomaly that results in individuals becoming unable to reach or exit specific areas due to intervening circumstances, such as jammed doorways, blocked winds, or errant gusts of wind. Description: SCP-4040 has been cut off from the rest of NX-018 as well as the world by K1698's effect, while SCP-4040's gravity prevents the phenomenon from spreading any further. Individuals have been able to reach SCP-4040, but barring the use of other anomalous items or phenomena, this can only be accomplished once per individual. SCP-5859, a mimetic vector affecting the phrase e pluribus unum, which results in individuals who handle currency bearing this phrase to join communes cut off from the rest of society. Paired with K2078, a mimetic agent which references an individual has run in every US presidential election who runs on a pro-gustatory platform. Infection by this agent causes drastic behavioral changes in infected individuals, particularly increased appetite. Description: K2078's campaign platform has included the reintroduction of the E pluribus unum motto since 1984. This has altered SCP-5859's intended effect, so that individuals are now compelled to further consume various products of American make, particularly foodstuffs. Look over my Twinkie pile with concern. Further countermeasures regarding obesity caused by this interaction are under consideration. Amazing. SCP-3003, an extraterrestrial civilization of humans ruled by SCP-3003-2, a species of sentient microbe which will attempt to conquer Earth sometime before 2050. Paired with K1233, an entity that represents an emu-type spacesuit, proclaiming itself to be the Moon Champion. Entity is highly durable and is capable of flight speeds exceeding Earth's escape velocity using its jetpack. Description: the threshold leading from 001 to 3003 is inaccessible by all 3003 number instances, but K1233 is capable of free ingress and egress. They display combat capabilities not documented in the file created by 001, and these capabilities seem specifically suited for destroying SCP-3001-1 and -2 instances. Currently, K1233 is leading a large-scale rebellion against 3003-2 made up of liberated 3003-3 instances. Full eradication of 3003-2 is expected by 2029. I think you might submit to that dude, maybe. The Moon Champion is 1233. I don't think. I actually don't know. I've never read 1233. Let me just get some more of these up. There's been a couple more submissions. I believe they've not been read before either. 969. Nope, never been read before. 1654. Also not been read before. Awesome. Good. Insert Doom music here. Yeah. Putting E pluribus unum on money would perfectly exemplify the current US state of economy unless I'm maxing out Matin and many for one. Yeah, I think so. Maybe just read it. Also possible. SCP-5501, a wet plate camera from the 1800s, along with 18 photographs, which act as apertures into an alternate reality filled with immensely hostile entities. Paired with K1983, an extra-dimensional space contract containing hostile Tatarian entities which collect the hearts of humans and can be repelled by prayer. Description: the photographs created by SCP-5501 are contained within K1983, each acting as an aperture into the opposite. The K1983-2 instances invade the alternate reality to collect hearts, and SCP-5501 breaches into K1983 in order to attack K9183-2 instances. A mistake, it was EX, so out of, not EX. Okay, and. Out of many for one. SCP-ZH002, an anomalous chimeric entity, roughly equine or cervine in body shape, whose appearance corresponds to natural disasters affecting Taiwan. Paired with K239 is Agent Siguro Watansdotter, a 20-year-old type green humanoid of Icelandic descent, capable of spontaneous matter and energy alteration. Description: following SCP-001's judgment process, a threshold leading to Taiwan opened with biological containment. This threshold is mobile and has always led to an area that is within half a kilometer of SCP-ZH002. Agent Wotan's daughter has used her abilities and trained with equine anomalies to tame SCP-ZH002 to the degree that such a thing can be accomplished. Agent Wotan's daughter has become SCP-ZH002's full-time caretaker, mitigating the damage it causes, returning to SCP-001 through the threshold twice daily for meals, and using other amenities in Site 100. Odin's daughter. Rig Reply and welcome. Late to Mount Storytime. Oh, don't worry about it. Thank you for the British free charge. I think I'm going to have a look in the tea basket. There we are. Lemon and ginger. SCP-3852, a phenomenon wherein an anomalous cadaver manifests in a small community, leading to the lynching of an individual accused of the murder. Paired with K2547, a phenomenon wherein several hundred canines will surround and isolate small communities. K2547 is led by K2547-1, a sapient coyote who wears a black coat and a crucifix. Description: K2547 appears and quarantines the community where SCP-3852 has manifested. K2547-1 proceeds to hold a trial regarding the alleged crimes of the SCP-3852 instance, acting as the judge, prosecution, and defense simultaneously through a process of trilocation. The defense tactics of K2547-1 consist of either holding the town's water supply permanently hostage if the individual is not found innocent, confounding a jury of non-anomalous humans with circular arguments, or finding itself in contempt of court, leading to mistrial. What the fuck? SCP-PL-122, an area of land in Poland which decays and/or corrodes organic and inorganic matter. Knowledge of SCP-PL-122's location causes its decaying effect to spread. Paired with K-1262 is a vegetal mass that is capable of growth at an incredibly rapid rate, approximately 0.7 kilometers per hour. Description: the decaying effect of SCP-PL-122 is effectively smothered by K-1262's rapid regrowth, limiting its decaying effect. Due to the massive amount of plant regrowth, the true nature of SCP-PL-122 is anomaly it cannot be discerned by personnel observing it. Combined with altered Foundation documentation, this has effectively negated SCP-PL-122's anomaly from spreading in the mental landscape. SCP-055, unknown, paired with SCP-579, data expunged, can't fit square pegs in round holes. God damn it, it's still doing that! I'd play an SCP Ace Attorney game. That would be hilarious. That would be absolutely hilarious. Only 9 of the 10 sectors of 001 are accessible. The core of 001 has been completely cut off from the rest of 001 through the 3 connecting routes, Aleph, Baith, and Dalath, either terminating or being unnavigable using currently available resources. Despite this, several Foundation expeditions to attempt to reach the core have been undertaken, with each expedition revealing new information about the nature of the core. In April of 2021, an expedition successfully reached the core of SCP-001. The following containment cycle is inaccessible to all but the administrator of the Foundation. Its cycle is contained within the core of Site-100 alongside a sealed document. Addendum: Site-100 Central Containment, Level 6/001 clearance required. Hello, Architect. Well, I think we found someone who's above Administrator. So the SCP-001-Pikmin, a sapient universal force that causes reality to resemble fictional narratives in structure, and to frequently manifest trope-like phenomena and behavior, paired with 001/Tufto, an expression of the conceptual struggle between pre-modernity and modernity, known to the larger Foundation as the Scarlet King. Description: at the end of everything, we hold on to anything. The red entropy will claim all but the narrative. Someone will tell the story long after we are gone. The king's children say we raise trees to put up monuments to our narcissism. Our topsoil is data, with circles of trees of concrete sprouting from it, bearing fruits of creation, tended to by gardeners calling themselves a bedrock. Royalty lives and dies, but story is eternal. And it's a picture of a sunset thing saying, "We see you. I'm sorry, you will never know peace." There is a flow to the new order and to the other. You can see it too. The balance, the scales we precariously. This will create a wasteland of a world ruled by fear and darkness. We can't allow the organization to lose it. Already they are herding staff into cells once more. Our roots are rotting and dying, but the walls do not breach. You have fallen and wait in containment. Learn from us. It will get worse before it gets better. People will miss the hope, and they will want this world back in time. If you scream when you are alone, know that you are heard. The other pages one said DZ, yep. Hydration reminder, Callie. I will take it from water because that is still thieving and hot. Well, that was just horrific. It's not going to do something else if I refresh the page, is it, Pokey? Or is that it finished, but now? Because either way, that's fucking horrific. And really good. Really good. That's all. That was very, very good. Always a fan of those. Need a good pokey existential horror one every now and then. Okay, let's just change this. We are going for SCP-732, and the next one is going to be from... oh no, it's another near one after this, 969. Oh, balls. Balls. Alright, so 17... oh, I went, which is on 732, so it's still Series 1. Two. The fanfic plaque. Oh, no. Why am I expecting it? Oh, it's a very, very, very short one. Little extra nice Team Sandwich number. Not wrong, actually. Not wrong in the least there. Pokey is an SCP connoisseur. That's very true. They're the SCP administrator for a reason. Just a funny one from you. Item number SCP-7. A bunch of symbols over 9,000. Object class K, Supply, Keter, what? Special containment procedures. SCP-732 is currently uncontrolled. You can't, he's invincible. Whether if containable, let alone contained. 732 should be kept away from all vital records and should be... Subject must be provided with a 1,500 room mansion and a secret lab with which to combat crime and villainy. Compromised records must be destroyed to avoid further contamination of our database. Description: 732 is a force or entity which subject is impossibly witty and charming. On records into fanfiction rambling, subject has psychic powers and can blow people up with tab blink of an eye. outside currently unknown. He's with all the cool SCPs. Queries into the nature of 732 have met with little success. Tell eldritch horror. While there's no certain evidence, it is theorized that subject likes cult classics of our records have been completely compromised by 732. Is this Batman? It sounds like Batman. It sounds like really bad Batman fanfic. Addendum 732/01. A recent breach in SCP. I'm an orphan with no family but loads of money. Bwah ha 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 ha. Containment, which should have warranted the simple and safe procedure of data expunged, somehow led to the deployment of Mobile Task Force Omega 7. SCP-076 kicked Abel's arse, now he's my bestest friend ever, was quite displeased when he found that the elfin death god he was sent to contain was not a death god of any sort at all, on a date with SCP-105, displeased. For the sake of our remaining budget, it is strongly advised that more effective methods be found for countering 732's corruption. Dr. Blank. I'm kind of worried who SCP-105 is now. It's a camera with a tracking device in it. Why would you want to go on a date? Actually, no, I don't want to go ask why someone's on a date with a camera. Oh, God. That was a thing. That was a thing. That was definitely thing-worthy. And now... 105 is Iris, isn't it? She's nice. 105. Yeah, Iris. Don't even have a red Iris, but yeah, that's what it's indicated as there. 969. Redacted brand mosquito repellent. Okay then. This is becoming a staple of any time I do a SCP stream now, but god damn it, Nia! It might be viewed on the remote chance you ever decide to leave your house. Mosquitoes don't want me. I finally have a gut upside to being undesirable. Even mosquitoes don't want me. Ha ha. Item number SCP-969, object class Euclid. I'm already worried. Special containment procedures. All instances of 969 are to be kept in containment locker 19/969. All personnel are to be issued information annually on the appearance of 969 instances. Personnel encountering an instance of 969 are to retrieve it through preferably legal means. I'll try to get Nia killed during the game later for you. What? What? Have you put all of chat into a game of Stellaris, Thyrus? I don't know if I'll go to the game first. What? What's this game being talked about? I'm out of the loop, apparently. Don't worry, it's something me, Thyrus, and a few others been. Oh, right, fair. Fair enough. Description. 969 is a brand of packet insect repellent apparently distributed by Corporation. There are no legal or online records of any Corporation. 969 is typically found on the shelves of various convenience stores, mainly in the United States and Canada. Footnote of instances of 969 have also been discovered in the United Kingdom, South Africa, and Australia. However, their frequency of appearance is relatively minor. So they invited me to a server where we play Blood on the Clock Tower, one of the social dungeon games. Oh, I've heard of that. Too late. Best be fast so doesn't notice. Ah. No clue, man. Just out of the loop as you are, maybe even more so. I didn't know if it was something that was being going to be going on during my streams or what, or something that's been going on the server that I haven't been seeing. You have no control here. I have a bit of control here. Actually, no. I haven't turned my my PS5 on, so I don't have access to the game control. Instances of 969 will appear on store shelves and records with preset pricing. Store workers show no memory of adding 969 to their inventory. 969's packaging claims that approximately 19% of 969 is composed of an unknown chemical labelled Labelling seems to imply that is the active ingredient of 969. Researchers have isolated all other chemicals in 969, but have been able to identify lending credence to its role the active ingredient of 969's effects. Given the anomalous properties of 969, it's suspected that may not be an isomer of corresponding chemicals in 969, but as the packaging claims. Okay, what's kitty screen time? I will try. Capius! Capius! Capius, come on, buddy. There's my buddy. Capius! Hi, buddy. Come here. Sorry, did I wake you from a nap? Oh, your presence has been requested by the masses. Let's move that out of the way. Come on, buddy. Don't flop on the wall. There we go. We have Capius. A single brain-celled organism. That's a bit generous. He's just settled on me like this already. Actually does not care about what I'm doing. You already asleep? Not fully. I think you're here. He's buried his face into my arm. Aww. Horrible. At least a single brain cell using it as a different die. True. Feels too cute. Lower you down so you can snooze on my lap. There you go, buddy. Yeah. Good. I'll come up. Yeah. Yeah, that sounds of serotonin. Good, I'm glad. I'm glad that helped. Boop. He's just you know, purring and snoozing lightly on my lap now. Right. Instructions for the application of 969 are on the other side of 969's packaging. Lydia, hello and welcome. Heard someone was pinned down by Capius. He's on my lap now. I was holding him up in my arms like that, and Callie asked if he was asleep, so I moved him slightly and pointed his face at the camera. He just buried his face in my arm. Kitty. Look at him. Look at that cute, sleepy, snoozy kitty. You're the best, aren't you, Cape? Yes, you are. Our red-maned creature sees your disturbance of my rest. We're in cutscenes of Kwame and then karaoke. Ooh, nice. You've got further than I have. Although, to be fair, I got to the fight with Shimano on my first stream, and then sometime after Shimano on my second stream. Mrs. Capey's affirmation. Oh, I just picked him up and gave him a snuggle and called him the best. That was his affirmation. Capius, that is my nipple you have your claws on. I'm so glad that you've had a claw trim. Do you know that Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe's development took so long because of a bucket? I did not know that, but knowing that it's Dug's brother, yes, I can imagine that. He wants some milk. He's actually not that much of a milk drinker. Wants to claw me, apparently. Directions for use. It is a violation of federal law to use this product in a manner inconsistent with its labelling. Footnote. While there are laws surrounding the use of insect repellent, there are no laws regarding corporation or Read all directions before using this product. To repel insects, rub on exposed skin areas. Use just enough repellent to cover exposed skin. Do not use under clothing. Do not apply to face or ears. Repeat as needed. Frequent application when saturation is unnecessary for effectiveness. Avoid overexposure. Wipe hands after use. After returning indoors, wash treated skin with soap and water. Avoid contact with plastics, acetate, spandex, and rayon. So work at Doug and Stanley Parable Maker's brother. It really is. It basically doubles all the content more in the game. It's understandable. Use of SCP-969 in the recommended manner results in no anomalous active effects, although researchers note a greater efficacy of use of 969 over other brands. Use of 969 in a manner not recommended by the packaging results in several anomalous effects. Recommendation not followed being 969 applied to unexposed skin under clothing. Immediate effect. Clothing appears to be repelled from skin of subject, expanding outwards. Chronicle lasting effects? None. Footnote 3. Effect wears off after approximately 5 hours. So yeah, there's an amount of craziness. 969 applied to face. Immediate effect, irritation in line with regular effects of insect repellents. Chronicle lasting effects, face of subject is found mainly unattractive regardless of physical change. You're adorable. SCP-969 applied to ears. Immediate effect, loud buzzing noise heard by subject. Chronicle lasting effects, hearing degradation and eventual deafness. Or practical, love you husband, no problem at all wife. Love you too and have yourself a good time at work. I'll see you later. Frequent application resulting in overexposure. Immediate effect, extreme alienation by subject of all observers. Chronicle lasting effect, depression. Well, who the fuck gave me that when I was young? Hands not wiped after use. Immediate effect, express struggle of holding on to several objects. Chronicle lasting effect, inability to grasp or handle any objects with hands. Applied indoors or not washed off indoors. Observers show tendency to avoid contact with shelter of subject. Chronicle lasting effects, condemnation of shelter. Recommendation not followed. 969 applied to any plastic overcoat. Immediate effect, overcoat began contracting. Subject was able to escape overcoat. Death of subject. Chronicle lasting effect, overcoat remained contracted. The fuck? Level 4 clearance required. (969) given to a child. Subject immediately began to experience growth until subject became a young adult. Chronic and lasting effects. Body maturity, but mental immaturity. There. Addendum 969-2, Incident 969-1. Following repeated use of 969, several federal vehicles were seen approaching sites. Security forces were deployed and all federal agents were successfully captured. When interviewed, the agents claimed that they had received orders to arrest several substance abusers at the site location. So far, the source of the orders had not been identified. Agents were administered Class A amnestic and returned to headquarters. Well, that's weird. That's a weird one. Okay, and now for the last one we have in the current racking. Just update things. I'm having to do this all one-handed. 1654, next. Random. Quite as far as I expect, sadly. Yeah. Same. Just accept that. That's series 2. Is 1654. Tuned to a dead channel. Okay. Incoming broadcast. Protocol urgency. Immediate. Threat level Aleph. Protocol subject SCP-1654. Protocol instructions. The special containment procedures of 1654 are to be broadcast to all remaining sites on an unencrypted wavelength. Civilians receiving this message are encouraged to assist the Foundation through any means possible. Foundation personnel who fail to comply will at the minimum be met with immediate termination. Civilians who fail to assist will not know reclamation. At least 13 Foundation outposts are to be situated in a circular region along the outside of every remaining site, at least 20 kilometers away from the site. The following accommodations are to be made for each outpost. At each 3 separate rooms containing a small portion, at least 4 milligrams, of the site director's ocular nerve. An outside wall along with the corpses of 3 level 3 personnel, changed daily. The bottom of the basement level must contain at least 3 kilograms of dirt or rock originating from any SCP-1654-1 instance. All personnel manning the outpost must be unreclaimed. 71 milliliters of blood from each overseer must be hidden somewhere within the outpost away from SCP-1654. These outposts will be responsible for forming a protective barrier against 1654. Additionally, any incoming civilians will first be handled by these outposts prior to being sent to the site for further action. All individuals manning these outposts are not allowed to die. Sites that are unable to meet these accommodations within 3 weeks of notification are to activate all on-site nuclear warheads. All personnel with existing familial connections are to submit themselves to their Foundation Office of Reclamation for immediate termination. Personnel who do not comply are to be executed as soon as possible. Their remains are then to be fed to individuals no more than 5 minutes prior to reclamation. Reclaimed individuals are to be sent to Lunar Area 32 for immediate extraction. Once the individuals arrive to Lunar Area 32, they are to be immediately subject to Thaumaturgical Ritual C-337. The result of the ritual is to be launched from the Foundation Seraphim array situated in orbit towards any major civilian population centers, now known as SCP-1654-1, the remains of which shall be identified as seraphic zones. This process is to be repeated until all known SCP-1654-1 instances have been converted into seraphic zones. Should the current supply of personnel with existing familial connections be exhausted, civilians from the immediate surroundings are to be used. Should that method be exhausted as well, personnel are instructed to begin creating suitable candidates themselves. Once all possible candidates have been exhausted, remaining Foundation personnel are instructed to congregate in any area of the seraphic zones and begin the termination of 1654. What the fuck? Lydia, hello and welcome, and thank you very much for the raid. Hello and welcome, raiders. We are reading spooky stories in the form of SCP entries. My name is Malkaya, and I am your typically gaming dragon. I don't actually have any mods here at the moment because, you know, my only active mod at the moment has just appeared, so I'm going to shout you out myself, Lydia. There you go, Lydia. Have your shout out. If you have not done already, although I presume that everyone has, everyone here has done so already, go and give Lydia a follow. She's awesome. She's a wonderful streamer as well, and just an amazing person. And also my best friend, so, you know, even more reasons. And my nest bud. Hey, nest bud or best bud both work. Spooky stories to tell in the afternoon. Yes. I mean, it's only just started to be the afternoon for me. For some reason, I find legend mode easier than normal. Is it one of those ones that, to make up for being on a higher difficulty, it increases the amount of damage you do, like Middle-earth Shadow of War did? Because putting that on the maximum difficulty means that you do more damage to enemies, but they also do more damage to you. Also put around to go, the other foes like a Katamari. I've just got the Katamari music in my head. You have no idea. And check. Kuza Kiwami Legend difficulty. It does say I apparently am back. There we go. I'm here. Bruta died. But now I'm back. So yeah, refresh if I haven't come back for you. Let's see, whereas to be fair, on Grave Ward's difficulty, you may have done damage to your orcs, but that is only if they don't instantly one-shot you when you fail to dodge. Yeah, that's exactly the issue I had with it, Virus. And then when I went back on an easier difficulty, I was doing so little damage to them, it just felt like an absolute ball ache. I was like, I can't be arsed. Can't be arsed with this. We found an SCP that certainly qualifies this year. Well, oh, good God. It does say. Oh, right. So, yeah, the legend thing, it does say that the only major thing about legend difficulty is that if you die, you go back to your last manual save. Not an auto. There's no auto saves, so that's something to be mindful of. But it says you can save from the menu manually anyway, so it doesn't really actually matter. Just if you forget to save, like me. So guys, ready to kill the stream. Oh no! Oh no! Lydia overloaded me. Oh no! Malk, good job, Lydia. I'm proud. Managed to make Malk buffer. I'm usually the one causing blue screens and buffering to people like Vesp and Lydia. So, I'll go back. Wibbles, thank you. But yeah. Shadow of War is quite hard, but still fair as long as there are no chance captains around. I got only very shortly into it, and I was like, nah, not for me. I thought Legend meant that like one life, yeah. You have one life and you go back to your manual save if you lose it. That's it. It's not a permadeath thing. Imagine if that was permadeath though. Jesus. Yakuza Kiwami on permadeath. Fucking hell. Best goes for a random quote and gets, I'm American. We all signed a gun sound at birth. That was you in Deep Rock Galactic. Thank you for the hydration from Enderverse, but I'll take another sip of that. Pirates goes for random quote and gets in hentai. That's called wetcon. Guess we've been doing legend from now on. So you'll be doing a foot. Leg end. the last bit of SCP-1654 is, once all possible candidates have been exhausted, remaining Foundation personnel are instructed to congregate in any of the seraphic zones and begin the termination of 1654. Further instructions will be given prior to this event. Protocol last updated 25,663 days ago. That was a bit spooky. Sneakers, no thanks. Yeah, no. I would not make it far on permadeath runs of Yakuza. I really wouldn't. Hello and welcome, DJ, and you come in with a SCP suggestion of 682. How have I not read 682? You napped at 12 PM. Oh, welcome back from your nap. Oh, that works out for that. We go there. Murder Gator. Time for the Murder Gator. To be fair, 62 in total, 78 were a lot. Well, a few at least. No, it doesn't. Oh, it's got a termination log. Oh, good God, no, I'm not reading the termination log. No way. No bloody way am I reading that termination log. So, yeah. Item number SCP-682, aka Sexy Gator. Look, I've seen fan art of 682 interacting with 1471. How's someone? The reason this fucker is like one of the poster guys for SCP itself. Yeah, this one and 173, is it? The statue. The concrete statue that can only move when it's being unobserved and it snaps your neck. Warm PJ pants get. I'll warm your lower half, Lydia. Object class Keter. Special containment procedures. 682 must be destroyed as soon as possible. At this time, no means available to SCP teams are capable of destroying 682. Only able to cause massive physical damage. 682 should be contained within a 5 meter by 5 meter by 5 meter chamber within 25 centimeters of reinforced acid-resistant steel plating lining all inside surfaces. The containment chamber should be filled with hydrochloric acid until 682 is submerged and incapacitated. Any attempts of 682 to move, speak, or breach containment should be reacted to quickly and with full force as called for by the circumstances. 173 Peanuts. Yes. Even though it's got redesigned now. 173, 096, 682, 049, 035. So those are the biggest ones. I've read some of those. Which is it kind of huge, big, huge, or huge, huge? Hugest. Don't forget 963-1. Don't know. I'm less familiar with the numbers, more familiar with the descriptions. Personnel are forbidden to speak to 682 for fear of provoking a rage state. All unauthorized personnel attempting to communicate to 682 will be restrained and removed by force. Due to its frequent attempts at containment breach, difficulty of containment incapacitation, and high threat of Foundation exposure, 682 is to be contained in site redacted. The Foundation will use the best of its resources to maintain all land within 50 kilometers clear of human development. Was Dr. Jack Bright? Oh, fair. I was confused. Same. Description. 682 is a large, vaguely reptile-like creature of unknown origin. It appears to be extremely intelligent and was observed to engage in complex communication with 079 during the limited time of exposure. 682 appears to have a hatred of all life, which has been expressed in several interviews during containment. See 682-B. Oh no, I'm going to have to do the voice of it, aren't I? 682 has always been observed to have extremely high strength, speed, and reflexes, though exact levels vary with its form. 682's physical body grows and changes very quickly, growing or decreasing in size as it consumes or shreds material. 682 gains energy from anything it ingests, organic or inorganic. Digestion seems to be aided by a set of filtering gills inside of 682's nostrils, which are able to remove usable matter from any liquid solution, enabling it to constantly regenerate from the acid it is contained in. 682's regenerative capabilities and resilience are staggering, and 682 has been seen moving and speaking with its body 87% destroyed or rotted. In case of containment breach, 682 is to be tracked and recaptured by all available mobile task forces, and no teams with fewer than 7 members are cleared to engage it. To date, attempted breaches have numbered at 17, while successful breaches have numbered at 6. See Addendum 682-D. Might never give you a pretty big story for one of Lord Blackwood's stories. I don't even know who Lord Blackwood is.
Now, why did you...
I did not realise I was going to go to an audio thing. Portion of recorded transcript of a log. I don't know. Theorised 682 was one of the children that came alongside 999. So, Now, why did you kill those farmers? 682. No verbal communication. If you don't talk now, we will remove you from this attempt and place you back into... Pardon? Motion to move microphone closer. Speak up to personnel DO85. Move the mic up closer. They were... To personnel. That microphone is only so much gain. Move it closer to it. His throat's messed up, man. Look at it. He ain't talking. Appearing to assault... 682 appearing to assault Dr. Murray. They were disgusting. Doctor retreats to the main room. End of log. It jump scared by a radio. I clicked on a button and did not realize it was going to take me to an audio recording. Addendum 682-D. Breaches with 682. First occurrence, handled by Agent KIA, Personnel D129, KIA, Personnel D027, KIA, Personnel D173, KIA, Personnel D200, KIA, Personnel D193, KIA. Second occurrence, handled by... Third occurrence, handled. Fourth occurrence, handled. Fifth occurrence, handled. Sixth occurrence, handled. All with various agents and dead members. 682's favourite word, disgusting. Addendum 682-E, termination options. Log of event 682-E18. Dr. Attempts to use SCP-409 on 682. General and Dr. Observing. 0400, exposure. 682 begins to tear at the point of contact, causing massive trauma to the area. 682 requests several times to know what has been exposed to. 0800, crystallization begins, spreading much slower than normal. 1200, 682 shows signs of extreme pain and begins having seizures. 1300, crystallization stops at 62% conversion. Crystallized area explodes, causing massive physical trauma to 682. 1400, 682 recovers from exposure despite the loss of limbs and organs. 682 begins regeneration, stating that it will attempt to kill and consume all staff involved in event 682-E18. 682 appears to now be immune to 409. Use of other SCP items to terminate 682 must now first be tested on samples of 682 before full-scale testing. Scales. Alongside maniacal laughter. In accordance, the Dr. recommendation, see document 27B-6, Dr. and Dr. have requested permission to attempt the termination of 682 using 689. The request is currently pending approval from the It has also been suggested by Dr. Gears to use 182 in an attempt to communicate with 682. 182 has expressed reluctance and refuses to enter the containment cell of 682 if at all possible. Well... The Murder-gator. Okay, let's get a random SCP up, because that one's done now. Random SCP, and let's just check I haven't read this one yet. Nope. Okay, so we are now going on to SCP-1788. After that, we've got a pokey suggestion of SCP-6174. Very certain I have not read that one yet. Yeah, have not. That one. It's a long one, so I am going to then pause the redemptions on after that one then. So we'll get through this one, then we'll get through 6174, and that might actually take us to the end of the stream. That will be a Series 7 one. 6174. Where's my mouse? 6174. Well, that's kind of worrying. SCP-6183, access denied. This URL is currently unavailable by the wiki staff. What the fuck happened to 6183 that it's become unavailable? You are not here. Oh. Oh, that's a very long one. Yeah, that's probably going to take us to the end of the stream. So, well, let's see how 1788 does. Let's also change this. Properties, next is 6174. Okay. Item number SCP-1788, Object Class Keter. Special Containment Procedures. Containment of 1788 is currently impossible. Embedded agents in various governments, including those of and are working to enact mandatory Röntgen screenings under the guise of tuberculosis eradication as a means of pinpointing 1788-1 instances. Any suspected instances of 1788-1 are to be reported immediately to Armed Biological Area 223 Command. Personnel not to engage suspected instances and should retreat immediately. Boring already. The Foundation currently has 7 instances of 1788-1 imprisoned in Armed Biological Area 223. Keep a little too much of the redaction. I'm glad. I'm glad that my method of redacting, replicating the redactions on this is provides some humor. Contact with these instances is strictly forbidden outside of approved experiments. Each instance is to be housed in a separate humanoid containment cell. Feeding and cleaning requirements are laid out in document 1788-CF. Turn to a Minecraft video, it's funny. No more 1788-1 instances are required for concurrent research purposes. Any newly discovered instances of 1788-1 are preemptively cleared by O5 Command for immediate termination by Armed Mobile Task Force Tau 4. All things bright and dutiful. You actually might not make it for Payday 2. If that's the case, I'm going to be streaming something else, because games like that tend not to work quite so well with only 2 players rather than 3 or 4. Funny enough, 343 actually refuses to terminate 682 because it's not one of his creations. Wigrin, hello and welcome, and thank you for your contribution to the Live Game Stream Challenge. Let's see. No more 1788-1 instances are required for current research purposes. Any newly discovered instances of 1788-1 are preemptively cleared by O5 Command for immediate termination by Armed Mobile Task Force Tau 4, which is all things bright and dutiful. Right, already read that. Yes, already read that. Oh, my kid, not my problem. Not my circus, not my monkeys. Thank you, DJ, for your contribution to the One-Off Game Stream Challenge. Description: 1788 is a process, treatment, or other means of biological transformation. A prepubescent human being subjected to 1788 becomes an instance of 1788-1. Currently, the creator or discoverer of 1788 is unknown. Groups of interest are being investigated. Find the origin of 1788 is considered a Sindri level priority. On reaching adulthood, 1788-1 instances display predatory behavior towards prepubescent humans. Typically, they will settle in a large urban center, find a form of white-collar employment. Footnote 1. Notably, they will usually not seek employment in a job where they would work directly with children. Presumably, this is to limit suspicion. then begin tracking prepubescence in the area. Approximately once every 6 months, an SCP-1788-1 instance will attempt to abduct one of the prepubescents it has been tracking and take them to a remote or otherwise unobserved location, where it is subjected to the 1788 process and turned into an instance of 1788-1. Little information has been gathered from captured instances of 1788-1. Instances are of above average intelligence. Footnote says more detailed observations are difficult to make, as instances refuse to take standardized exams, become aggressive and uncooperative when forced to answer questions, or are otherwise unwilling to or unable to comply with tests, and show extremely strong resistance to compulsion, coercion, torture, data expunged, and other forms of information extraction. Every instance to date has also shown signs of malignant narcissism and psychopathy. They generally have a complete lack of empathy, while also showing keen psychological insight. For these reasons, among others, unauthorized contact with 1788-1 instances is strictly forbidden. Individual instances generally do not voluntarily gather or interact, except for the purposes of mating. In fact, when 2 or more instances are placed in the same environment, a typical fight for dominance, this behavior is not gender-linked. Females and males will fight one another in addition to their own genders, and in a mixed gender group there will likely be only one dominant individual, who may be male or female. Captured instances are housed separately to minimize damage. Multiple instances have been seen in the same general urban area, but never in ratio greater than 1 to 100,000 normal humans. Footnote of, this behavior is similar to that of apex predators. Mating season apparently occurs annually, but is not seasonally linked. Instances in some environments have been observed mating in the summer, while other instances have been observed mating in winter months. 1788-1 instances will exclusively mate with one another. They have no apparent sexual attraction to normal humans. Gestation period for 1788-1 instances is approximately 40 weeks, roughly the same as humans. Their offspring are genetically indistinguishable from normal humans and are not considered anomalous. However, as they are prime candidates for undergoing the 1788 process, their capture or termination is to be considered high priority, second only to the termination of 1788-1 instances. SCP-1788-1 Anatomy. It is extremely difficult to distinguish an instance of 1788-1 from a normal adult human, even on close inspection. Individuals show variation as expected from gender and ethnicity, but share certain characteristics in common. 1788-1 individuals appear to be obese, with the range of 150 to 200 kilograms when fully grown. Footnote of, note that the actual weight is often closer to 250 kilograms due to higher muscle and bone density. 1788-1 instances have larger than average eyes, though not enough to appear abnormal on casual inspection. Their sweat contains high levels of potassium and copper, though still within the normal range for an adult human. Though externally normal, their internal anatomy has been extensively changed. 1788-1 instances, long bones and cranium have been reinforced with several heavy metals, and their muscle fibers have been interwoven with structures resembling carbon nanotubes. This gives them durability, strength, and speed well above the human baseline. See document 1788-1-DX for measurements and estimates. Level 3 clearances required. 1788-1 instances possess backup organs and systems for most of their body's vital processes. For example, they have secondary heart lower in the torso, which can work in tandem with the primary heart to more efficiently circulate blood, or can function independently as necessary. Certain blood vessels have complex valve structures, allowing instances to cause blood flow to damaged limbs and other areas to prevent excessive blood loss. Other organ systems have also have 2 or 3 redundant backups that can take over the event of the failure of the primary organ. 1788-1 instances also possess a secondary brain located in the upper torso and protected by its own skeletal structure, similar in construction to the rib cage. Currently, the exact function of this brain is unknown. It is unknown if this brain can continue to function even in the event of the destruction of the primary brain, as demonstrated by incident 1788-XR-12. Damn things basically become space marines. Essentially, yes. Footnote 5. Logs of this instance have not been fully cleared. In summary, in terms, a team of agents were able to lure an SCP-1788-1 instance into the range of a sniper who was able to destroy most of the instance's head, including the entirety of the main brain, with several shots from a high-caliber rifle. However, the instance still displayed full mobility and partial lethality, disabling 2 agents, 1 fatally, at close range. It is unknown how the instance was still able to sense the agents with most of its primary sense organs destroyed. Research is ongoing. The final difference in gross anatomy is the appearance of a second pair of arms. You'd think that would be the first thing that was mentioned. Because, you know, the fact that they say that extremely difficult to distinguish an instance of it from a normal adult human. Yes, apart from the fact it's got another 2 frickin' arms. The final difference in gross anatomy is located directly below the main pair. These are apparently equal strength and dexterity to the upper pair, and 1788-1 instances are apparently capable of using all 4 arms simultaneously. While we're not actively hunting, instances hold the lower pair folded closely to their sides, where they are largely concealed by natural bulk. When hidden in this manner, it is virtually impossible to distinguish a clothed instance of 1788-1 from a normal obese human, except on close inspection. Level 4 clearance required, accepted, access granted, interview log. Interviewed 1788-1-863, interviewer Site Director Mandeville. I'm very certain that if Vesp heard that her brain has gone to the exact same place that I have. What the fuck? You can see it, can't you? Mandeville. Weren't paying attention. Oh, interviewer of one of these SCPs. Site Director Mandeville. Oh, yes. Can you visualize Hildy doing an interview on an SCP? Can you visualize that? Because it's a glorious sight that my brain is struggling to comprehend. Oh, I just remembered his Stormblood series of quests. Him being the master of disguise. I took a screenshot of after the reveal when he's still got the makeup on, because I just absolutely lost it. You've yet to finish the... Oh, I highly recommend it. It is so funny. So funny. Note, 178-1-863 was restrained and fitted with an electroshock collar for this interview. Begin log. Director Mandeville, I am not going to put on a Hildebrand voice, because I have no idea. There's a sandwich. Ooh, sandwich. Neither the motivation to play or not. Ah, yeah, that's fair. That's entirely fair. Oh, Lydia, I don't know if you were here earlier when it was said, but Pokey doesn't think they're going to be able to make the Payday stream either, so there's not... I'm probably not going to do Payday today. So I'm going to be doing something else instead. I don't know what, though. But, yeah. So... You are released from your heisting duties. For some reason, Malky made me imagine Harry and his mess of a mind as an SCP. I would love to read that. Yeah, I can actually imagine Harry Dubois and Hildebrand being very similar. Vesper's chanting horror. I could play a horror game. You could easily do that. Means I get to see my new mask. I mean, you can screenshot it and DM it to me. I would quite happily look at it, or you can save it for the reveal. And, you know, bamboozle all of us. Lydia. Pet the beans. Try to switch through channels by boops. You'll wait. Oh no. Oh no. Begin log. Director Mandeville, please state your name for the record. Laughter. I don't need a name. Names are for children. The driver's license and other materials on your person identify you as... Is that your name? That's my child name. I don't need it now. Then I'll refer you to you as 863. Call me what you like, just don't call me late for supper. You were found by our agents outside an elementary school. The documents in your car and apartment include multiple photographs of children taken without their knowledge. Are you a pedophile, 863? The SCP suddenly becomes violent in attempts to break his restraints. beep you, you sick beep. I'll beep kill you. You're the pervert, you beep. If you're not a pedophile, 863, then why are you observing children? Stop sent to break screens. You think they're children? I can't believe we came from you. Explain why you mean that by 863. Does not speak. Director Mandeville activates shot collar. He doesn't visibly react. He just laughs. That's what I mean. You think you can hurt me with that? You're a failure, Doctor. You don't even know what you are. Would you care to elaborate, 863? You wonder why your scientists haven't found any anomalous implants in our bodies? Why we have no surgical scars? Why our genes are pure, unmodified human? Because we are human, Doctor. Your x-rays don't look very human, 863. We don't look like you. We're not failures. We're not children. You regard us as children. You still look like children. You aren't finished. What do you? You're stunted, incomplete. You're like the amphibian that grows up to breathe water instead of air. The eggs I watched, they must hatch into us. They need to be finished. So you abduct them to complete their metamorphosis. We don't need companionship. We don't live like you in herds. Each one of us knows what we need to do, and each of us is capable of it. And what is it you want us to do? Grow up. Or die. Lydia, you must overtake Malcolm progress significantly. She probably already has. If she's been playing off stream, she probably has. I had no idea where that SCP was going, but I'm glad I read through it, because that was kind of cool. Did like that. And now we are on to the... possibly going to be the final one. The one mission off Scream. And now I'm just imagining you going through an entire police assault, just going, Ree! Just the entire time. I mean, I've done 2 missions? Oh no, I didn't do 2 missions off stream. I did go and farm a mission to unlock the copycat perks, but that's pretty much all I've done. Excuse me. If the 200 bodies I killed in one mission had anything to say anything about it, it would be Ree. Oh my good god. Okay, this is going to be a long one. As I mentioned, the image market is adorable. Item number, SCP-6174, Level 3, Object Class Safe, pending Ticonderoga. Secret. Object Class was Euclid, was Thaumiel, was Apollyon, now safe, pending Ticonderoga. From the Riser Communications Archive. From Dr. Lass to Senior Staff, Subject 6174, Down Class. Dear fellows, did you all get the recent handown from the 05? What's going on here? How the blazes is 6174 not still an Apollyon class anomaly? Has something changed I haven't been made aware of? I highly doubt it, because I can still see the goddamn ball! I don't need more headaches on top of the already chronic ones. This down classification is either a monumental clerical error or a disaster waiting to happen. Maybe both. I formally requested reclassification again. This time the Rosa reminded me of the new Ticonderoga class, and I begrudgingly agreed with her. Damn it, with a foundation, not some pencil factory. But if the O5 are so convinced this thing isn't a threat to humanity, we should at least make sure everyone who reads the file knows that we have no idea how to contain it. The police hearing Ree, what the fuck is that sound? They have a drone. Lydia goes up for a distraction technique and just emits static. Signed, Dr. Lass. Gaze too long at the ball, and the ball will also gaze into you. Nietzsche, probably. From Dr. Lass to all Site 6174 staff. Subject, you know who you are. Tinnitus. My fellows, and at least one imbecile, I will find whichever one of you changed my email signature, and I will stick my boot so far up your arse you'll see my rubber treads instead of SCP-6174 when you lie down at night. Signed, Dr. Lass. You know what? I'm removing the quote library from my signature. It saddens me to know that the depths of those passages were lost on many of you as it stood. I just gave me an idea to stick propellers on Lydia so that she can fly. I mean, you know, she can just... at this point, well, A, one version of Lydia has wings, and B, she can ask Thyros or myself for a lift. Oh, I see. Pixel reconstruction. 6174 lights off when through the walls. The bunker break room lights on. Wings too small for flight. Ah! In that case, you have dragons. And that is the image. This get. Oh, that's the SCP. That ball there is the SCP. Balls. Special containment procedures. Observation site 6174 has been established around 6174's resting place, as the nature of the object renders retrieval impossible. Balls. It's on the page. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. Foundation agents nearby at the Arecibo Observatory are to maintain the appearance that Observation Site 6174 is a series of utility bunkers containing sensitive seismographic equipment for the calibration and protection of the Arecibo radio telescope. Site 6174's perimeter consists of two 5-meter-tall industrial chain-link fences topped with barbed wire, spaced 20 meters apart, surrounding a circular area of Puerto Rican rainforest measuring approximately 1,000 meters in diameter. A large gatehouse on the northern end of the ring fences containing living personnel and sleeping quarters offers the only entrance to and from the enclosure. Due to Site 6174's remote location, clear display of warning signage and documents circulated within the Arecibo Observatory that the sensitive seismographic equipment at the site must not be disturbed. So far, there have been no significant attempts by non-Foundation entities to gain entry to Site 6174, nor its central bunkers. It's a black spot. It is a black spot. At the center of Site 6174's enclosure lies a module of 7 interconnected bunkers, with 6 bunkers surrounding the 7th in a hexagonal formation. Each bunker consists of a 10-meter diameter concrete dome, accessible via a door onto the outside, and connected to the others via concrete tunnels. No one is to enter any of the 7 bunkers without the express direction of the site director. These bunkers contain in clockwise order from the northwesternmost bunker. Bunker 1, Command. The retired command center for the observation module. Live footage from bunkers 1 to 6 has been rerouted from the display panels to Bunker 1 to video monitors and gatehouse. Bunker 2, Break Room. Contains restrooms, a seating area, a coffee maker, and simple amenities for food preparation. All meals are to be taken in the gatehouse when possible. Bunker 3, Research. Contains various retired equipment for conducting research into the nature of 6174. One corner of the bunker holds a small standard interview cell furnished with additional artistic supplies. The rest of the bunker is devoted to a medical suite with brain imaging equipment for monitoring the brain activity of test subjects. Bunker 4, Cells. Contains 1 guard post and 2 standard humanoid containment cells built up against the 6174 facing wall. Each cell is to be kept furnished with simple living amenities adequate for 1 human subject. Bunker 5, Security. Guard Station. Contains a minimum of 2 armed guards at all times that any bunkers contain D-class personnel and can sustain up to 9 guards at any given time. Bunker 6, Sensors. Contains autonomous monitoring devices for various environmental conditions, including atmospheric and seismographic sensors. All necessary data feeds have been rerouted to video monitors in the gatehouse. Bunker 7, Containment. The central chamber, Bunker 7, houses 6174. This chamber is accessible only from the tunnels which connect to the bunkers Command, so bunkers 1, Command, 5, Security, and 3, Research, and is to remain sealed at all times. Previously, it was when not in use. Bunker 7's interior chamber is lit by an array of wall-mounted LEDs to a soft white glow during daylight hours and a low-level diffuse red glow at night, not to exceed 0.001 lumens. Calibration for Bunker 7's nocturnal lighting should be made so the average color value of the surface of SCP-6174 matches the approximate color value of the inside of the human eyelid when closed in a dark room. No personnel to enter the central facility without express direction from the site director. All personnel located at Site 6174 are to remain within the ring of ground between the two fences at all times. The perimeter of the ring fences is to be patrolled by site security on an hourly rotation. All personnel to be subjected to psychiatric evaluation on an annual basis, previously monthly then weekly. Personnel who fail to maintain high scores across their metrics for mental fortitude and compartmentalization, or who score above their baseline for obsessive or compulsive metrics, are to undergo deep permanence evaluation. Individuals who have not developed deep permanence are to be administered Class A amnestics and relocated for placement at Foundation facilities no less than 1,000 kilometers from Site 6174. Personnel who fall within the parameters for relocation but who display deep permanence are to be brought to the site director for further briefing. Description: SCP-6174 is an immovable stationary object located at some coordinates in a province. Aww. Scamming. I know you meant scam emails, Lydia, but it was scam emails, and I just think of Nia. Really, really bad email copies from the replicant. It turns out you haven't logged into your account email address in a while. And how did I get the email? Yeah. Aww. Don't worry, Lydia. I'll come and see to the heavy petting of your box soon enough. Take that how you will. Why do I have notifications? Why do I have notifications in more than one server? What? Okay. Just screw things. Just screw things. Province in Puerto Rico. Its appearance is that of an off-white sphere, 16.22 centimeters in diameter, floating 1 meter above the forest floor via an unknown means. A small pre-Columbian pedestal altar of non-native granite, which has been deemed to be non-anomalous, sits below 6174. The surface of the sphere appears to be perfectly round, though not perfectly smooth. 6174's off-white exterior has been likened to bone, eggshell, pumice, and many other materials by observers, though all attempts to gather a sample of its surface, or to otherwise analyze its chemical compositions, have been met with failure. New picture for Jupiter, and it's blue and red. Ooh, nice. 6174's previous primary anomalous feature is that used to be upon being seen, it cannot be unseen. Obstacles that would normally obstruct a subject's line of sight towards 6174 failed to do so, resulting in the sensation that 6174 is instead in front of any such obstructing materials. So far, no natural or artificial substance has been found that can block a subject's view of 6174. This includes, but is not limited to, concrete, lead, silver, wood, beryllium bronze, holy water, data expunged in badge credentials, and eyelids. For a full list of test materials, researchers may submit a request to site director. The sandwich invite requires 6 whole blocks of tofu. I really want some tofu now. Oh, God damn it, Lydia. Really want tofu. Really, really want tofu. Why do I still have it? I'm being messaged. Nom, never had it. So I would recommend, Lydia, if you ever do decide to try tofu, that you do so not just tofu. Have it, tofu styled as something or flavored in something, because base tofu is so fucking bland, and if not cooked or prepared well, it's also kind of shit. But it's one of those things that on its own, it's just meh. But pair it with something, and it really does an amazing job of absorbing flavors. It's why it's used so much as a meat alternative. It's also very good for you. I mean, I say this, but I would quite happily just eat a block of tofu without it being prepared. Try fried tofu or basic theme miso soup. That's true. Yeah, that is very true. There's tofu in it. Yeah, those little small white blocks in miso soup is tofu. Is like mayo? No. No, tofu is a solid. You tried miso before? The ones that you get like from the stores where you put hot water in, they're like ill floating like white cubes in it, because that's the tofu. It's in Discord now. I thought that was the whole point. Tofu, it absorbs the flavor of other things. What mainly keeps tofu by itself? Happily. When I was young, also, my mum used to make what she called scrambled tofu, which was basically tofu mashed up with a fork, fried with eggs. Not eggs. In place of eggs, with onions. Delicious. Put soy sauce with it. Also good, because soy sauce is... Yeah, soy sauce is the byproduct of tofu making, because you basically take edamame beans, you process them, it creates tofu, and also a sauce that's come from it, and that's you turn into soy sauce. We got asked what it's made of just as I'd finished asking, but stream delay is a thing. Most subjects are not aware of 6174 until they approach within 250 meters of the object or have their attention directed towards the location. This distance varies greatly based on the perceptive qualities of the subject and the degree of difference between the average color value of their observable environment and that of 6174's exterior surface. Excuse me. Oh, there's a video log. I thought it was just going to show a video, but no. Video log. Date, sometime in the 1900s. Note, subject D3044 was transported to site 6174 on and immediately ushered into bunker 7 containing 6174. The bunker was sealed with D3044 as its sole occupant, with the researchers in bunker 1 observing via video feed. Oral instructions were provided to the subject via the bunker's PA system. It will make sense. That makes sense, even if it's not a whole lot. Tofu will absorb its flavour. Eating just raw tofu is disgusting. I like it. I like raw tofu. It's also got a very nice, pleasing texture to me. What do we call moments like that? It's like almost the same Brave and Soul moment, but responsive. Me seeing the future. Because I'm just that good. Begin log. 1422. Subject D3044 is instructed to sit at a wide table that has been set up facing 6174. Subject is commanded to keep their head pointed towards 6174 at all times. Subject proclaims surprise and discomfort with the fact that she can see 6174 when she blinks. 1424. Subject is told to pick up various panels lying on the table, each consisting of a different material, and hold them in front of her face. D3044 follows each command promptly and appears disorientated when she attempts to block her view of 6174 with the panels provided. Subject repeatedly attempts to touch the image of 6174 that she can see in front of the held panels. 1453. Subject completes testing with all the provided material panels. None appears to have had any obstructing effect on 6174. Subject reports feeling of mild vertigo. 1502. Subject hears the sound of the bunker door opening behind her and turns her head towards the source of the sound. Subject begins to scream. Log. Brain cell bounces hits the corner, thus giving the person corresponding to the thoughts he has the previous person had. Okay, yeah, I like that one there. Beyond the superimposition of SCP-6174's image at the forefront of the subject's line of sight, 6174 also remains visible even when it passes beyond the normal human field of vision. If a subject stands facing 6174 and rotates their eyes or head until the object would pass out of view, instead the subject will continue to see 6174 in the void of sight beyond their peripherals. This sensation has a remarkably delirious effect upon the mental state of most viewers, with subjects describing its visible presence beyond their peripherals as unbelievably disorientating, mentally torturous, and just fucking wrong. Right, profiteroles. You can have my profiteroles if you want, Lydia. Subjects who remain in close proximity to 6174 often develop swift phobias of allowing 6174 to exit their normal range of vision, citing their discomfort and inability to function properly when it does so. Most subjects become functionally blind for any extended periods when 6174 sits beyond their normal range of vision, as a devotion of focus to the image of 6174 prevents them from properly observing the rest of their surroundings. Upon withdrawing to a significant distance from 6174, most subjects report that the minuscule image of the object, though still fully visible, is nevertheless much less mentally taxing. Site 6174 has been constructed to reflect this finding, as site staff have reported significantly higher levels of comfort in the gatehouse than in the bunkers. You have a DM on Discord. What? If it's the picture of Jupiter, that went into my media share. Why did I just get a text message? I think it's a text message anyway, or that's an email. No, it's a... Why did I get a Twitter notification? No one messaged me on Twitter. Being sent a tweet. Open interview log. Interviewed D9253. Interviewer researcher Augusta De La Rosa. Forward. Subject D9253 demonstrated a remarkable resilience to the usual mental strains caused by 6174's persistent visual effect during his first day of testing at Site 6174. Site Director last requested a number of simple questions be asked the subject while his resilience remained high in order to establish a psychological baseline. I have on Discord is the movie chats and 2 live notifications. I don't know where Zero would write to you, if I'm not mistaken, you're the Lydia she mentioned. Begin log, 1745. Researcher De La Rosa and D9253 are seated on opposite sides of the interview table in Bunker 3. Dr. Lass stands nearby. Researcher De La Rosa will be referred to as interviewer. Room for questionnaire. So, D9253, you've seen the ball, you've seen SCP-6174 up close and personal for a few hours now. D9253 staring at the wall to his left, his line of sight is pointed directly towards the nearby Bunker 7. Yep. So you have, and... you're looking at it now, aren't you? Aren't you? Sure, yes, sure, I suppose we all are, but you are looking at it right now, not just seeing it in the corner of... Never mind. First question, what does 6174 look like? What, the ball? It's right there, man. Subject points to the wall. You can see it too. You can, right? To be the movie chat, possibly. Or DM. But probably the movie chat. Interviewer's eyes focus to her right. I ask the questions, D9253, and you answer them promptly. What does 6174 look like? Well, I mean, it's a ball. A white ball, you know, like a mothball. Like one of those old ones. Yeah, they're actually round, not like the new little flat things. It's really round, you know, like, I don't know. It's just the right size for me to get my hand around it. I think I almost got shot earlier when I figured that one out. But I don't know. What else do you want? It doesn't feel cold or anything, just a bit rough. Like, kind of like a sidewalk, maybe a bit smoother. Depends on the neighborhood. And how does it feel? Not to the touch, but otherwise. How does it make you feel? You know, it's got that hum. Not like an actual hum that you can hear, but like it sort of feels like it should hum. I'm not sure I follow. It doesn't hum, but it feels like it should. Yeah? Maybe that's not the best way to say it. It just feels like you're supposed to know it's there. Could you extrapolate? Could I? What? Tell me more about what you mean when you said that that 6174 wants you to know it's there. Oh! You ever met someone who's just like the center of attention? Not like a punk who tries to show off or anything. I mean someone who just, where the room just knows that they're there. And you always kind of feel like you should be glancing over at them. I don't know, not like a dick or a bust or anything, but what's the word? Those super charismatic guys. So you're saying that 6174 feels charismatic? That it has a character? How does... No, it doesn't feel like that. It's like it's a person or anything. It's just... Let me try that another way. I feel like I'm supposed to know that it's there. You've shown a marked ability to keep your cool when 6174 is not in your direct line of sight, D9253. Prolonged exposure did not appear to be a comfortable experience for you, but you were nevertheless quite stable when 6174 was beyond your normal range of vision. Tell me, what does it feel like when 6174 is not in your direct line of sight? Oh man, yeah, that's weird, not gonna lie. Well, honestly, when I'm not looking at it, I feel like I actually am still looking at it, you know? It's so clear and surrounded by that darkness that I just can't help but focus on it. So you're saying that you feel calm or maybe soothed by focusing on the ball. That's why it doesn't bother you? Well, yeah, I guess so. I tried to ignore it this morning and kept looking in the direction that my eyes are pointing, but that's not really how it works, is it? Since I don't actually have to look at it to look at it, so I just don't really try to find it, I guess. If it wants me to look at it, I'll look at it. And what if you try not to look at it? I get to look at my lunch again. No, that was what happened, right? I think I threw up when you guys forced me not to look at it for way too long. It's all kind of fuzzy. Thank you, D9253. That'll be all. Cool. End log. Clearing statement. Following the interview, D9253 was transferred to one of the holding cells in Bunker 4. Dr. Lass informed research staff that D9253 would be kept on site for a minimum of 90 days to observe the long-term mental ramifications of same proximity to 6174. 6174's image always appears clear in the mind of the viewer, though the sphere's diameter may seem to grow larger or smaller as the subject approaches or retreats from 6174, such as the extent to which a subject can manipulate the image of the object. Appearing to blur one's vision via focusing or unfocusing the eyes through any means, natural or artificial, results in a field of view that is blurry except for the clear image of 6174. This extends to the subject's peripheral vision, which, under normal circumstances, is not particularly receptive to finer visual details. In the case of 6174, the subject can clearly see the details of 6174's exterior when it sits at the edge of their vision and when it passes beyond their normal range of vision. So far, the lighting conditions within 6174's enclosure have proven to be the only reliable way to cause any change to the viewer's perceived image of 6174, beyond movement toward and away from the object. Subjects describe 6174's brightness and colour to be directly related to the lighting conditions within its enclosure. Research has shown that lighting the surface of 6174 to approximately colour value of the bunker's exterior surface during daylight hours and to the approximate colour value of the inside of human eyelid during nighttime hours is the most effective means of reducing mental strain on its viewers. Current containment procedures have been revised to reflect this finding. Open interview log. Interviewer, researcher Augustina De La Rosa. Interviewed D9253. Forward. At the time of the interview, subject D9253 has been held in the Bunker 4 for 90 days. Bunker 4's proximity to 6174 resulted in D9253's inability to escape the omnipresent image of 6174 for the duration of the 90-day period. Begin log. Please state your name. Staring at the wall to his left, subject appears to be looking in the direction of 6174. D925. Please state your full name. Subject begins to turn his head towards the interviewer before halting and turning his back to the wall. I call it data expunge of valid credentials. What is your name, D9253? It doesn't call me anything. Just continue down the questionnaire. What's last? Just continue down the questionnaire, La Rosa. Right, 9253, please describe the appearance of 6174. It's there. It's there. It's there, and we're here. D9253, please describe the appearance of SCP-6174, not just location, but its appearance. I know, I did. It looks like it's there, because it is. It's there. But what does it look like? Is it white? Is it round? How large is it? Sure, yeah, round, white, whatever. It's the wrong size. It's the wrong size for what? Do you know what I see in my dreams? Interview exchanges a look with Dr. Lass, who nods. You see it in your dreams? Please tell me what you mean by that. I see it in my fucking dreams. When I close my fucking eyes, it's there. And when I open them, it's there. And when I'm asleep, it's right. It's floating. It's not. It feels wrong. It feels so wrong. And it slides around to the back of my brain. And it eats and eats and eats and eats. And I can't see. Or fucking hum. It's there. I'm going to see it when I fucking die, aren't I? I'm going to see when I die. And I'm going to be all alone. Just me and the ball. And nothing else forever. And ever and ever and ever and ever and ever. Just me and the ball. I won't even have the eyes, so there won't be anywhere else to look. It'll just be me and the ball, and I can't fucking die because it'll just be me and the ball. And back to the question, D9253. What do you mean when you say you see it in your dreams? Do you see it in the way you see normal things in a dream, or does 6174 present the same characteristics as it does in real life? For example, if you wish to, can you stop seeing it in your dream? No, I can't fucking stop seeing it. Have you not been listening? It's there. It's not that I can't. It's not that I can't stop seeing it. It's that it never stops being there. I can't make it not be there. Neither can you. No one then. No one can. Yeah, that's right. I heard the guards talking about how you can't even scratch the fucker. You said real life? When I sleep, it's still there. In real life. You know. It's still there. In my dreams. Right there. Right now. It's there for you too. It's there for all of us. It's not going away. It's never going anywhere. It'll always be there. It's always been there, hasn't it? It has, because it is. And when I look at it, nothing else really feels like it is, you know. It's the same for all of you fuckers. I'm not here, and you're not here, but it's there. Oh yeah, it's definitely there. Nothing can stand before it, because it's there. And there is where it is. I can see it in the womb, I bet you. Yeah, I bet I can see it in the womb, because it would have been there too. I would have been there, and it would have... Subject's speech grows progressively quieter and turns unintelligible. And a nod from Dr. Lass, security personnel escorts 9253 out of the interview chamber. Dr. Lass speaking to a handheld voice recorder. Note on the interview of D-Class afternoon. Subject reports the appearance of objects in their dreams. Its anomalous form. Get ball rolling on nocturnal brainwave monitoring ASAP. Draft proposal for request of indefinite extension of subject's tenure at Site 6174. Progress is marked. That's 3.8, it really is. From the Racer Communications Archive. Date, from Dr. Lass to all Site 6174 staff. Subject, a change of pace. Dear fellows, containment proposal for 6174 has been given a slight tweak for all of our sanity. Starting Tuesday, we'll be keeping Bunker 7 lit with a nifty automatic sensor relay, courtesy of researcher Erickson. It was really Richard's idea, but he didn't have the tools to actually build the thing. Go figure. The point is, from now on unless we are testing during the day, that orb is going to be lit to whatever the native colour of outside the bunker is during the daylight hours, and automatically dim to a dull reddish black at night, so we can get some much needed shut-eye. Here's hoping it works. Signed, Dr. Lass. A fire eater must eat fire, even if he has to kindle it himself. Salva Hardin, Foundation by Isaac Asimov. Date from Dr. Lass to all Site 6174 staff. Subject, a note on somaphoric idiocy. Dear fellows, I was recently made aware of a crude attempt at a workplace humour scrawled on a sticky note on the wall in Bunker 2. First and foremost, I must remind you of the absolutely zero tolerance policy for defacement done to the site and its infrastructure, and that all posted signs must be pre-approved. Second of all, I must ask, seriously, has scientific integrity dipped so low that you find humour in crass comments about the weight of one's mother? For shame, ladies and gentlemen, for shame. Moreover, we should all know by now that no human body, no matter how corpulent, is capable of blocking image of SCP-6174 from the mind's eye. Oh my god, someone when your mama's so fat she blocks out 6174. Wow. Wow. Through all efforts to contain the visual presence of 6174 have failed, containment of the object itself has continued successful since 1951. Any effects that 6174 may have on the creative public have been deemed to be, previously says, largely non-existent, well within the potential risks, completely unknown, and potentially a vector for an AK-class madness end-of-the-world scenario, non-threatening in nature and fitting of the requirements for an object class of safe. Discovery. 6174 came to Foundation's attention in 1951, when Steve Ballmer, a well-respected reporter for National Geographic, began work on a culture piece concerning a small cell of religious fanatics living on the foresaid slopes of northern Puerto Rico. Notably, his research contained a local folk legend of El Ombligo del Mundo, the world navel, or the umbilical of the world. In Bloodborne vibes now. Or they tried to throw a rock at it. Well, they did say that, the military people, couldn't leave a mark on it, so I assume they shot it. You're on the grass, and welcome. By believers to be some sort of deity or primeval nucleus that could inhabit the human mind, Foundation agents seized all materials related to the National Geographic peace in a raid on days, and administered amnestics to Bulma and all connected staff. Military Task Force Iota-3, Papal Bull, was dispatched to Puerto Rico to investigate the authenticity of religious cells, retrieve any anomalous items, and perform cleanup operations. Upon arrival, Military Task Force Iota-3 quickly located 6174 with the assistance of local rumors, immediately notifying commands of the object's non-unseeable nature and establishing a security perimeter along lines similar to those of the modern-day ring fence. MTF Iota-3 further discovered a diverse community of native Puerto Ricans and other Caribbean islanders living in a diffuse cave system below 6174 who called themselves Los Hijos del Ombligo, Children of the Navel. Contact with these children was initially peaceful, though tensions rose when members of the task force began interviewing members of the group. When Iota-3's materials coordinator attempted to take some samples from 6174 for testing, altercations ensued. Over the course of the following 3 days, data expunged invalid credentials, resulting in the deaths of 32 children reported by MTF Iota-3, along with 2 members of Iota-3, as well as the total collapse of the cave system in which the children had been dwelling. See exploration log, document expunged invalid credentials. Just going to return to violent DMs overwhelmed me. No problem at all, Lydia. If there's anything I can do to help, just, pop a DM over to me or anything. I will help how I can. Foundation scientists were flown in, the 7-bunker system and ring fences constructed, and containment established. After 1 year of cross-island amnestic regimens and adulteration of relevant historical archives by Foundation archive agents, no further incidents of civilian discourse concerning 6174 have been uncovered. Analysis of the granite pedestal below 6174 brought the surprising conclusion there have been carved in 2500 BCE, or 500 years prior to the earliest human remains so far discovered in Puerto Rico, which dated to 2000 BCE. No similar granite structures have been found in the vicinity of 6174, though prior to the collapse of the Children's Tunnel system, MTF Iota-3 had reported data expunged invalid credentials. Initial investigations by Foundation scientists in the 1950s could not validate these claims, and in 1954, Site Director Meriwether suspended all excavations indefinitely. Research into the history of the children during initial containment revealed a long history of secretive interest in 6174 on the island. Following Columbus's brief stop to Puerto Rico in 1499, and again following the foundation of Keter in 1508, the data expunged invalid credentials. By the time of Americans' invasion of Puerto Rico at the tail end of the Spanish-American War, rumours of Los Hijos del Ombligo had once again begun to spread through the surrounding countryside. This group appeared to have been in the same community that maintained residence around 6174 until their demise following the events of 1951. In 1952, Foundation plants within the United States Department of Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, or ARPA, maneuvered policy decisions toward the construction of the Arecibo telescope near 6174 under the guise of defense applications for the detection of missile activity at extremely high altitudes. Foundation scientists have been pushing for such an array for decades, and many research proposals call for the far-range radio telescope capabilities of such a structure. At the time of its discovery, 6174 was assumed to perhaps serve as a transmitter or beacon for some unknown entity or entities. And as such, the construction of the Arecibo Observatory nearby would allow for simultaneous surveillance and research of the object. The geography of the area, prone to sinkholes under the underground systems, was further expedient to selection for the site of the telescope. Construction of the Arecibo Observatory was completed in 1963 and has maintained a strong Foundation presence ever since. So far, no signs have been found that 6174 serves any transmissive function beyond its temporary application in Project YNH. On December 1st, 2020, data expunged, harm to ongoing operations. Okay. Research logs. Findings. Live videos and recorded video bears 6174's effect. 6174 appears in videos, both live and pre-recorded, as would appear if the observers were viewing the objects from the vantage point of the photoreceptors of the filming camera. If 6174 is obstructed from view in the video, it will still appear at the front of the viewer's field of vision in the video. However, 6174 cannot pass beyond the edge of the screen on which it is shown. The lighting conditions of the object in videos are those from the time of the original filming. 6174 will appear in perfect clarity regardless of the definition of the video capture device or playback screen. Good morning to you too as well. Photographs bearing 6174's effect. 6174 appears in photographs as it would appear if the observer were viewing the object from the vantage point of the photoreceptors of the camera. This gives the photograph an oddly 3D effect, as tilting an image it contains a materially obstructed 6174 will cause the image of 6174 to move across the photograph surface in front of any intervening materials. The lighting conditions of the object are those from the image of the image's original oh god, my brain and my tongue. The lighting conditions of the object are those from the time of the image's original capture. 6174 will appear in perfect clarity regardless of the definition of the image capture device or the material onto which the image is transferred. Thank you, Vest, for the hydration reminder. Artistic depictions do not bear 6174's effect. Artistic depictions of 6174, be they hand-drawn, digitally modelled, sculpted, poetic or otherwise, bear none of 6174's visual effects, regardless of how accurate or inaccurate they may be to the image of 6174. Even a pixel-by-pixel reconstruction of a digital file for a photograph of 6174 that itself displays 6174's visual effects will fail to display 6174's visual effects. Non-humans are unaffected by 6174's visual effects. Testing with a wide variety of non-human animals has universally shown that said animals are unaffected by 6174's properties. The object seems to appear as an ordinary, if floating orb to these creatures. Interestingly, this testing has revealed that the object is in fact off-white in colour, as animals trained in colour recognition and pattern matching were able to correctly match 6174 to colour swatches of its presumed colour. This was not an assumed fact at the time of containment, but as the nature of 6174's visual superimposition, the researchers could not write off the possibility that its surface was, to the non-human eye, some other colour. Non-human animals. Subjects with impaired vision see 6174 clearly. Subjects with poor vision are still capable of visualizing 6174 clearly. These individuals often demonstrate more severe disorientation than other subjects in the face of 6174's effects, as it is harder for their mind to avoid latching onto this image against an unfocused background. Subjects who suffer complete or partial blindness see 6174 clearly. Subjects who are congenially blind or have otherwise lost their sense of sight are still capable of visualizing 6174 clearly. These individuals often demonstrate extreme disorientation in the face of 6174's visual effects, often to the point of loss of consciousness and or complete loss of any sense of direction. A small percent of blind subjects display a deep sense of rapture when brought near to 6174, though loss of directional sense was still present. Blood on the surface of 6174. On date, researcher Erickson noted that there were two minuscule dark spots near the bottom of 6174's sphere that could not be explained by lighting conditions within Bunker 7. Under the assumption that this must be a foreign material, Erickson gained permission to attempt a sample extraction. Scrapings revealed both spots to be trace amounts of dried human blood. One which was a direct match to the eldest of the religious group known as the Children at the time of the object's initial containment. The other sample was much older and thus difficult to match, though it is a high likelihood that data expunged harmed to ongoing operations. A spot of matching blood was discovered on the surface of the granite pedestal below 6174, though there is no prevailing theory as to how these two spots could survive the environmental effects of Puerto Rico's weather for so many millennia. Further research into the subject has been temporarily suspended pending advancements in the Foundation's available techniques for ongoing sample study. Anatomy, I believe this one is. From the Riser Communication Archive, date from Dr. Lass to all Site 6174 staff, subject Wilson? Dear fellows, I've heard many of the junior researchers referring to 6174 as Wilson over the past week. I don't know what prompted this development, but I must insist upon proper protocol. The ball's to be called SCP-6174 because that's what it is. Oh, I know exactly why Wilson. Wilson! Just needs a bloody handprint on it. Documents. Oh, there's a lot of them. There's 17 documents. Well, 16 because 4... Oh no, there's a few that have been redacted. Document 1. Temporary cessation of all traffic from Site 6174. Notice from the Foundation Personnel Relocations Permission Board. All travel and relocation requests, personal and otherwise, have been suspended for all members of staff at Site 6174. Per emergency request for Interim Site Director Dr. Rothschild, please stand by for further information from your superiors. Edith Mediorcus, Director, PRPB, enacted 1955. Note, on 1955, site director Dr. Merriweather suffered a nervous episode en route to a conference on the mainland, which escalated into seizures, followed by a full cardiac arrest and ending in the death of Dr. Merriweather 2 hours after his flight's emergency landing at the Orlando International Airport. Post-mortem autopsy revealed multiple cerebral microaneurysms. Interviews with the site director's traveling companions revealed that the man had lost control of his faculties as a direct result of his close work with 6174. Dr. Merriweather had expressed to his companions an increasing feeling of disorientation as he travelled further from Site 6174, citing his ability to see 6174 despite the vast distance between himself and the object. Dr. Merriweather described a feeling of unimaginable distance and kept repeating phrases such as, "God, it's still there. We're not supposed to be able to do this," and "Oh God, I'm undone." Well, that's worrying. Following this event, all Foundation personnel stationed at Site 6174 were placed on a temporary no-fly list until the situation could be resolved. A full investigation, aided in no small part by the researchers of Site 6174, revealed that those who have been in close proximity to 6174 for extended periods of time are capable of pinpointing its exact position in the field of vision, even at distances from which the object's image has grown so small as to be imperceptible to the human eye. This came as no surprise, as many Foundation staff, including the members of MTF Iota-3 responsible for 6174's initial containment, had travelled to and from 6174 without any noted deleterious effects beyond the standard disorientation felt by most individuals while in direct presence of the object. As a result of these events, all Foundation staff located at Site 6174 at the time of the incident were required to undergo a series of object permanence evaluations before being cleared for their travel further afield. This involved transporting staff members progressively further and further from the site until, while under close medical observation, to gauge whether they shared in Dr. Merriweather's capacity to pinpoint 6174's image at even great range. 50 out of staff members passed these tests and were removed from the no-fly list, though members of staff, mostly junior researchers and security staff, failed their object permanence evaluations and were placed in indefinite assignment to Puerto Rican facilities, Site 6174 or otherwise. Measures were taken to relocate families of the affected as necessary. Containment procedures on site were subsequently altered to reduce the density of hours that researchers spent in close proximity to 6174, achieved by rotating work schedules and increased reliance on video surveillance. Notably, of the individuals who availed their object permanence evaluations were nevertheless capable of maintaining normal baselines of mental fortitude and cognitive ability, even while at greater distances from 6174. These findings were not acted upon for a number of years, but when Site Director Rothschild found a replacement in Dr. Lass, the relevant documents were brought to light and the potential applications re-examined. On initial testing of Project You Are Not Here began at Site 6174 under the auspices of Site Director Lass. Oh God. That's where the phrase comes from. Document 2, Practical Applications of 6174. Findings, Deep Permanence Individuals. 6174 inflicts on some, but not all, affected individuals an imprint of deep permanence, or the ability to model 6174's precise location and surface details even at distances from which the diameter of 6174's image should be orders of magnitude smaller than those observable to the human eye. The likelihood of an individual developing deep permanence is a presumed function of time spent in immediate proximity to the object over distance from the object. So far, no reliable model for this function has been constructed. Further testing into the subject's metrics for spatial reasoning, proprioception, innate curiosity, and religious attachment are pending. Deep permanence receptives and deep permanence rejectors. Individuals who develop deep permanence can be further split into two categories. Approximately 90% of subjects selected from generalized pools developed an innate rejection to the application of this finer sense, as was the case of the late Dr. Merriweather. Results vary, but invariably lead to multiple cerebral microaneurysms, cardiac arrest, and death when separation from 6174 is prolonged at a great distance. The event horizon for these incidents. I don't know why that word was so difficult. Varies widely between individuals. Approximately 10% of individuals who develop deep permanence suffer little to no negative effects from separation from the object. Many of these individuals, in fact, display a sense of wonder at such separation, claiming that it opens their mind to distances which they have previously been unable to comprehend. The percent of deep permanence receptives to rejectors has been shown to be significantly higher among intentionally vetted subjects, and testing has shown that among subjects who volunteered for testing, the receptives outnumbered the rejectors at a rate of 2. Practical applications of deep permanence receptives. Individuals who are capable of maintaining visualization of 6174 at great distances gain a subconscious ability to render its positional data towards various practical purposes. Such individuals express an innate understanding of just how far away they are from 6174, stating that they can just tell how distant the object is from how small the object appears in their vision. Testing with deep permanence receptives has proved this ability to be accurate to an extremely high degree, up to a maximum measured accuracy of 90% gathered from a voluntary member of MTF during a field test undertaken at the request of Site Director Lass. Deep permanence receptives also gain a higher degree of directional awareness as a result of their constant visualization of a fixed point in space. Extensive tests of deep permanence subjects has shown their ability to maximize directional clarity regardless of blindfolds, suspension rotation, or use of narcotics, among other environmental factors. Document 3. Request for funding for project You Are Not Here. Data expunged following racial financial documentation protocol. Document 4. Initial subsets of project You Are Not Here. From the Writer Communication Archive. Date from Dr. Ass. Dr. Ass. Site to all Site 6174 staff. Subject mandatory head. Mandatory read, a job well done. For those of you who were present at command this morning are already aware of the fact, but I wish to inform the rest of you that Project You Are Not Here has passed its first implementation in the field with flying colours. Team leader of MTF was available to successfully deploy Agent 9, known to us here at Site 6174 as Richard, or much to my chagrin. In an operation involving areas of warp space-time, to spectacular result, Agent 9 was capable of establishing a geometric lifeline to base reality via deep permanence, and our experimental training with coded light projection onto the surface of 6174 succeeded in allowing 9 to establish a temporal lifeline exactly as theorized. Two birds with one stone indeed. A few minor side effects were noted, but none too troubling in a mission that was otherwise a complete success. Mostly headaches and difficulty sleeping, which I'm sure we can all relate to. Perhaps most fascinating is the report of other members of MTF related experience that can only be described as deep permanence leakage. Team leader described a quasi-Scranton effect whereby the presence of Agent 9 alone was capable of partially reducing the severity of reality warping effects in his immediate vicinity. This report opens an enormous opportunity for us to truly push what we can do with SCP-6174, fellows. We must keep up and keep on. In closing, I'm afraid that I must eat hat. You may remember how vehemently I disapproved of our project's acronym, as it was obviously proposed as a juvenile jab at my fondness for national park maps, e.g. those off-to-face originals which hand in Bunker 2. But I should nevertheless thank La Rosa for pushing the vote through. It does grow on me. Signed, Dr. Lass. Date from Dr. Lass to all sites 6174. Reply, mandatory read, a job well done. Dear fellows, my previous sentiment has been somewhat soured. Version history should make a simple exercise to determine who changed my account handle in the site email server, and I will find a way to assign it to somewhere much less peaceful. PRPB be damned. You have until I return from my brief recess to think about your tomfoolery. I wondered if they were going to pick up on the Dr. Ass thing. Document 5. Request for reclassification of SCP-6174 to Thomiel. Approved. Data expunged. Invalid credentials. Document 6. Selection for enrollment in Project YANH. Phase 1. Effective immediately. Retrieving credentials. Authorizing access. Retrieving messages. Display message. Message starts. ETA 10 Charlie 5. You have been selected for enrollment in Project YANH, Phase 1, effective immediately. Please report to Team Leader Beta 1 for briefing. Team Leader Beta 1 has pre-approved this brief synopsis of the program for your information. Sea-Dog, we know you got it in you. Remember Long Horizon? Go get 'em, TLB1. If you believe that this message has been sent in error, please report to Team Leader Beta 1 with all questions. Message end. Document 7. Retrieval log. Watch this video to instantly die. Retrieval log. Date, Note, Foundation agents in the vicinity of the, Museum of Modern Art reported an emergent situation concerning the overnight installation of an interactive participant titled, Did You Leave Your Oven On? Consisting of, pieces of experimental modern art, all of which held plaques detailing their display courtesy of the collection of one Mr. Clearwater and daughters. Most of the pieces were deemed to be non-anonymous in nature, if highly disturbing in some cases. A full list can be obtained via standard RACER research fulfillment request. This exhibit was accessible to the public for 13 minutes on the morning of as museum staff were not aware of its anomalous nature at first. Foundation agents reported an emergency situation following the museum's closure at due to cardiac arrest and death of 2 patrons, and reports of an installation titled "Watch this video to instantly die." Expecting visual cognito hazards and the possibility for a mimetic kill agent, MTF ETA-10, See No Evil, was dispatched to investigate the exhibit, retrieve any anomalous items, and perform cleanup operations. Begin log. 9:53. Arrival of MTF ETA-10 at the Museum of Modern Art. 10:03. Perimeter secured. Amnestic team deployed. 10:06. Initial sweep of exhibit. Did you leave your oven on? For visual cognito begins. 10:13. Initial sweep of visual cognito hazards come back negative. 10:14. Examination of specific installation begins. Installation 7, titled "Your refrigerator is running, are you?" is deemed anomalous and extracted. Object is pending classification as SCP. 10:21. Installation 1, titled "Watch this video to instantly die," is handled with extreme caution, as is the supposed cause of death for 2 civilians. The installation consists of a standard brand tablet device mounted securely on a stainless steel table and enclosed within a cardboard box laying on its side, forming a primitive viewing booth. In front of the tablet sits a plastic lawn chair for the museum's patrons to sit in, separated from the tablet by an optometrist phoropter that has its lenses removed, the presumed purpose of which is to ensure that the patron watches the video from a specific vantage point. The tablet plays a looping video of concentric circles that guide the viewer's vision towards the center of the screen. Viewed from afar, the object presents no cognito hazardous warning signs. An MTF ETA-10 leader team leader Bravo 1 commands that all components of it to be removed from the site seen wholesale for testing at a remote facility. Oh no. Watching the video to instantly die, yeah, because it draws your attention to a video of 6174, at which point you realize how far away you are from it, and it kills you. Dorian, hello and welcome. Oh no, falling in. Good save, Thyrus. Document 8. Observation of hippocampal activity in subjects suffering from severe malformation of the opposite occipital lobe. A phoropter is one of those giant metal multi-lens things that the eye doctor uses. Ah. Never heard it called by that before. But then again, I've not actually ever been to an optometrist. Not since I was like, well, I don't know, 12. Findings. Hypothesis. Previous experiments utilizing researcher Della Rosa's novel imaging array showed marked activity across a wide range of sensory structures in subjects experiencing the effects of 6174 at close proximity, and even at long distances in subjects proven to have established deep permanence of any significant degree. This study seeks to explore an unusual activity pattern found in the vast majority of cases wherein subjects experiencing visual stimulation show spiked activities in areas of the brain not directly related to those visual stimulations provided by researchers. You called it because you were curious. Entirely fair. Practice. 2 subjects, monozygotic twins, female, 23, with dampened occipital functions, were imaged while experiencing a direct line of sight towards 6174. Both subjects suffered from congenital malformations within the occipital lobe, resulting in total blindness and the loss of auxiliary sensory faculties connected to the lobe. Results. Data expunged. Harm to ongoing operations. From the Writer Communications Archive. Date, from researcher Della Rosa to Dr. Lass, subject gets back here stat. Dr. Lass, get back here stat. We ran the test on the blind girls. They're not seeing the ball. They're remembering it. All the best, researcher Della Rosa. Document 9. Selection for enrollment in Project YANH Phase 2 effective immediately. Message start. ETA 10 Charlie 5. You've been selected for enrollment in Project YANH Phase 2 effective immediately. Please report to Team Leader Beta 1 for briefing. Team Leader Beta 1's pre-approved this brief synopsis of the program for information. Sea-Dog, we're ready to see you in action. You can ignore this enrollment for the time being. We've got a job that needs your shiny new peepers. And I've already done the paperwork to fly you back to your Bahamas getaway as soon as we're done with going art shopping. I will say, though, this Phase 2 looks like it's going to be one spicy meatball. All I know is that you're going to be doing work on faster than light communication by way of that skip. Leaps and bounds, Sea-Dog. Leaps and bounds. TLB1. If you believe this message has been sent in error, please report to Team Leader Beta 1 with all questions. Document 10. Findings. Watch this video to instantly die. Findings. Non-anomalous nature of the object. After extensive testing, no anomalous properties could be found in any way of the component parts of the Watch This Video to Instantly Die installation, nor could testing with D-Class personnel replicate the cardiac episodes of 2 civilians who died at the Museum of Modern Art. Re-examination of Did You Leave Your Oven On? MTF ETA 10 was redeployed to the Museum of Modern Art in order to re-examine the hall in which the exhibit Did You Leave Your Oven On had appeared. Members were instructed to search for any environmental conditions that may have been overlooked in the first sweep. Agent Charlie 5's discovery. Agent Charlie 5, a long-standing member of MTF 8-10, had not been present at the initial sweep of the exhibit due to the completion of his deep permanence training at Site 6174. Agent had demonstrated a particular aptitude for the program, and Team Leader Beta 1 had given the green light for his enrollment in deep permanence training and subsequent readmission to the task force following its completion. I've had motivation to draw, now I don't. I'm going to bed. They all have a good one. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Vesp. I know exactly how that feels. I hope the rest is a good one. I will see you soon. Have yourself a good sleep, and thanks for coming as long as you did. And we are starting to overrun, so we'll get through the last of these documents, then I'll have a brief, maybe a brief break, see if I need it, and then we'll go on to some horror streams. Horror games, I should say. Upon arrival at the former location of the video installation, Charlie 5 reported no unusual dilation of space-time in the area. When given a diagram of the placement of the objects in the installation, Charlie 5 grew extremely troubled and remarked that anyone who sat in the lawn chair and looked directly at the tablet through the phoropter would have been looking in direct line towards 6174. Emergency testing. 3 Foundation facilities were immediately contacted for their fulfillment of 3 criteria: possession of D-Class personnel, possession of an agent trained in deep permanence, and possession of adequate facilities to construct a high-accuracy array for the direction of subject's vision. All 3 facilities set about immediately recreation of the Watch This Video to Instantly Die installation, with deep permanence agents calibrating the viewer's line of sight towards 6174. All 3 D-Class personnel who observed the video from their calibrated vantage point experienced cardiac arrest within 1 minute, with posthumous autopsies showing multiple cerebral microaneurysms. Results. Site 6174 Director Dr. Lass could not be contacted at the time of MTF 8-10's discovery, as he was actively in transit from a director's quorum on the continent. Researcher Augustina De La Rosa was given temporary emergency command of the Site 6174 by order of O5. How's everyone today? My throat hurts. And for some weird reason, I think it's possibly because of the disconnect that happened? Maybe? Maybe? I don't know. But yeah. Oh, Discord is not showing me as being streaming. Yeah, the throat hurts, same. I'm guessing for different reasons, though, Torian. Well, to be fair, both of them are from overuse, just in different methods. Oh, you've been sick. Okay. Document 11. Suspension of all Project YANH activities, effective immediately. From the Office of O5. All Project YANH activities suspended indefinitely, effective immediately. In light of recent developments in our understanding of the nature of 6174, all Project YANH activities are to be halted and all outstanding phases to be preemptively cancelled, pending reapproval by O5. All personnel who are working on or have worked on Project YANH will be contacted shortly by their liaison for the expedition of this process. Discord says my OBS is open, so I'm in stream mode, but OBS is not open. Weird. Document 12. Critical failures in Project YANH. Note, following the completion of their deep permanence training through Project YANH on the first batch of YANH stable agents were returned to their teams for application in the field. Of entrance to the program, only enrollees were unable to return to active duty as a result of complications resulting from their training. Many of the stable agents were able to successfully implement deep permanence in the field to great positive effect, similar to those benefits demonstrated by the preliminary testing done by MTF Agents 9. However, stable agents experienced unforeseen catastrophes as a result of their new abilities. A truncated list of extreme failures is provided below. That seems to wonder a bit how soothing to listen to, Matt. You're amazing. It's just my voice, apparently. Discord's been extra shitty in the last few weeks. This is very true. Explorations of SCP. Stable Agent has demonstrated a marked ability to utilize the temporal lifeline offered by Deep Permanence to SCP-6174. Excuse me. An initial hours spent within SCP resulted in further progress than previous agents had been capable of making in the prior years of exploration. However, after exiting SCP, Stable Agent displayed an unshakable determination and deep phobia that they did not exist. Stable Agent refused to accept the fact of their own existence, yet was also terrified by the notion they might not exist. Subject entered into a manic episode hours after arrival at the entry point to SCP and was moved to suicide watch at the site mental rehabilitation ward where they currently reside. Containment of SCP stroke Stable Agent's presence on the containment team had notable positive reality stabilizing effect for the team members in her proximity. However, upon confronting SCP in the field, Stable Agent refused to proceed with the accepted containment procedures, citing SCP non-anonymous nature. Stable Agent vehemently continued in this assertion, and as a direct result, containment efforts failed, leading to the escape of the target. Exploration of SCP Stable Agents passed through the portal and immediately collapsed, writhing and screaming. Stable Agent babbled incoherently about seeing forever for 4 minutes until seizing and entering cardiac arrest. Stable Agent was successfully retrieved by accompanying members of MTF but was pronounced deceased upon return to baseline reality. Research at Site Initial beta testing of Project YA&H Phase 2 procedures prior to the full enrollment of its intended Stable Agents resulted in data expunged harm to ongoing operations. These events occurred within the 4 days immediately following the first batch of Stable Agents departures from Site 6174, and as such, attempts to abort the deployment of the agents to the field after YA&H's emergency status was declared were largely met with failure or at least delay. Document 13. Personal note from the desk of researcher Augustina De La Rosa. God, I haven't slept in 28 hours. I need to crash after I get these thoughts out. Lass should be back soon, and for once I'm looking forward to that pissy little fellow. I'm tired of everyone thinking I'm in command, but there's still so much to be done now that this ship will start rolling. There are at least 2 things wrong with... Well, we've come to 2 new conclusions about 6174. Ironically, we seem to have hit them both on the head at the same time. Me here in the lab and the boys out in... Both are pretty fucked up. Mine was that the ball's unseeability is not really that we can always see it, but more than we always know where it is. Similar, but different. I thought it was a memory thing when I first saw those deep brain scans of the twins, but I think there's a little more pointed than that. Less that we remember where it is / was, what it looks like, and more that we just inherently know that it's there. Kind of like how we're walking around, we always know where our feet are. Maybe that's also a memory thing though, because muscle memory is a thing. Kind of. But anyway, we have a lot more scanning to do before we can be sure of either hypothesis. What the boys in the field found out is, well, I guess we suspected this could be the case for a while now, in the back of our minds, but never really got around to testing it. I sure as hell didn't want to think about it. Hindsight is 20/20, etc, etc. Well, it turns out that everyone can see the ball. They just don't know where to look for it, as in every human born under the sun can see the damn thing, so long as they're pointed in the right direction. It makes so much sense now that we know about it, like when our eyes naturally move in saccades. They twitch around in our head while looking around, even their smooth transits when we track moving objects aren't infinitely granular. Really, we rarely actually look at anything, just close to it. For someone in, say, Jakarta, that teeny little dot of SCP-6178, 8,000 miles away, will not only be below their feet, but also insanely small. I haven't crunched the numbers yet, but there has to be a bafflingly small percentage chance that over the course of their day-to-day life, anyone would ever manage to look right at it on accident. But oh boy, if someone ever does. 99.999999%, I think I did that right, of our species of bald monkeys are not deep permanence trained, little boys and girls. We aren't supposed to be able to clearly picture something thousands of miles away. We aren't trained to handle that sort of sheer scale. And when our squishy little monkey brains suddenly find themselves actually processing just how much fucking space lies between us and the other side of the globe, well, bye-bye brain. Okay, I crunched the numbers because it was bugging me. Someone on the other side of the world looking at this thing would see it as close to the size of an atom, just 1 order of magnitude off. Yeah. Except they would actually be able to actually see it somehow, and understand how small it is, which means understanding how far away it is, which means understanding how small they are, which means... It's just not natural, or rather, it is natural that we wouldn't be able to handle such a thing. Our brains aren't made to be capable of processing things like that. Why would they? A monkey only needs to know its relatively immediate surroundings, a couple of square kilometers max. Sure, we can look up at the night side and look at billions of light years away, but we're not actually processing what we're looking at. Our brains literally can't. We can process, like, here to the supermercado, maybe even to the beach, but when your brain suddenly realizes that for some godforsaken reason it is capable of accurately and completely visualizing an object from tens of or hundreds of thousands of miles away, and you're not one of those weirdos trained to that constantly, you just stop working. Splatooey. God, but the world is empty, isn't it? It's all empty space with a few chunks of stuff in it, and those chunks of stuff are made of particles that are also mostly empty space. I know people throw those words around all the time, but the ball really makes you process just how tiny you are. I don't even want to look at what would happen if you looked at it from the moon, or God forbid, from further away. Your little head would probably go thermonuclear. Maybe that's how the Foundation will weaponize this. Make a bunch of little walking monkey brain time bombs. Fuck, I just ran the numbers from Pluto. You can see a nucleus from that distance. Anyway, it's bedtime. Here's hoping for sleep. Document 14. Emergency classification of SCP-6174 as a polyon. Approved. Data expunged. Invalid credentials. Document 15. From the Site-6174 communications log. From the Ricer Communications Archive. Date, from Dr. Lass to all Site-6174 staff. Subject, Code Innocent. Dear fellows, we have entered a code innocent situation. Check your handbooks if you don't remember that one. It's way back in with the other like that will ever happen kind of vocabulary. You all know by now that I do not curse at shadows, but this one has an absolute nightmare. La Rosa has provided ample proof that SCP-6174 is one of two things, both of which have terrible implications. Option 1. SCP-6174 is an Apollyon-class anomaly. This would entail that some aspect of its nature, which we have been considering anomalous, has wormed its way so deeply into how we as humans view our world that it's inherently uncontainable and perhaps even actively causing the degradation of the human species. Thankfully, we've yet to prove that 6174 really does much of anything, at least in active sense, so we may yet be able to dodge this bullet. But we may not actually want to dodge this bullet because option 2 is that. Option 2, 6174, is not anomalous. There is something more terrifying of the two options, by a few degrees. This would entail that all human beings have some quasi-shared memory of a singular point, which for whatever godforsaken reason looks like a small white ball floating in the jungles of Puerto Rico. Now this one would still be a head-scratcher beyond the usual why, since we know that things float anomalously and it is insanely durable. Hopefully those facts alone mean that we may yet be able to write off this every human being has a small section of their brain devoted to the imagining of this object hypothesis. Let's hope that La Rosa can pull off her usual wizardry and find something useful for us. However, until we know more, we are still in code innocent. All travels from Site-6174 have been suspended, and we are on indefinite lockdown while our superiors decide on the fate of our little site. I foresee an influx of fresh blood in the coming weeks as they send more hands to put on deck. Times like this make me ever thankful that our operation was always deemed unnecessary for an on-site warhead. And his signature quote, "He who controls the ball controls the universe." Frank Herbert, probably. Document 16. Verdict on the nature and treatment of SCP-6174. Data expunged, invalid credentials. Override key detected. Data unexpunged. Order of business. Verdict on the nature and treatment of SCP-6174. Present 05. There's a lot of 05s here and 2 as absent. Begin log 1332. Note, sub-debates and arguments pertaining to unrelated matters have been excised. Certain statements have been expunged from the record at the behest of the speaking party. 05. Rearranging the papers. Order, fellows, order. The topic at hand, and I'm looking at you, is that of SCP-6174. 6174, as you all know, is the unseeable sphere in Puerto Rico. The researchers at Site-6174 still haven't figured out where it came from, or exactly how long it's been there, or if anyone built it, or if it is in fact some naturally occurring phenomenon. But far we know, the thing has existed for multiple millennia, longer than we've been observing it, doing little more than floating in people's vision. However, the matter at hand is thus. We recently discovered that all of us have been observing it this whole time. We just didn't know that we were doing so until last week, with that damned video from the art exhibit, which, by the way, also proved that once and for all that the thing is a great potential for public harm, as any party that could figure out how to get a large percentage of the human population to accurately look in its fundamental direction could achieve a mass madness and or death event of enormous proportions. So, 6174 has been temporarily granted a reclassification to a polygon, and is pending a whole-scale restructuring in its containment and research protocol. But if that were all, I would not have convened this meeting. Rather, who has had an eye on 6174 for some 90-odd years now, has expressed a convincing argument to me in private for why we should not treat 6174 as an Napoleon class anomaly, and instead treat it as a safe class anomaly. I will pass the floor now to as they are more involved and knowledgeable party in this manner. 05. Thank you. Yes, I emotionally classify 6174 as a safe class anomaly and severely limit any and all further research or meddling that be done in relation to it. For starters, yes, we cannot currently contain the object's visual effect, regardless of the security of the object's physical sphere. Yes, some individuals have died upon finding its minuscule dot in their field of vision. Yes, any of you could technically notice it at any moment as well, especially if you were to look in that direction. Points to the floor of Mufid's way in the direction of Puerto Rico. I already have, and I promise you that it does bend the mind quite a bit on first contact, though I doubt it would seriously rock any of your psyches. I know that I have certainly seen and felt worse things in my tenure here. The real issue with 6174 is that it currently offers no more of a threat to humanity than any of nature's other aspects already do. The world is, simply put, a dangerous place for our little humans. Take heights, for example. Yes, a human falling off a tall enough object will most likely die, but we haven't started assigning every cliff in the world an object class now, have we? Of course not. Some people intentionally jump off of cliffs, sure, and others have wandered off of them on accident, but that's not really of our concern, and we do not presume to protect all of humankind from their own stupidity or bad luck, unless someone finds concrete proof that either of these features were not in fact naturally occurring aspects of human life. So we come to 6174. Yes, it's an undeniably anomalous object, if by no other metric than the fact that we have yet to find anything else that has an unusual visual effect. That, and it floats. However, any negative effects that 6174 may have on the greater public are roughly equivalent to those that the natural world already has on the greater public. Anyone can have an aneurysm at the drop of a hat, 6174 or not. Pop, dead. Aneurysms are not Keter class objects. They're not even objects in our mind. They do not try to do anything, they are simply a thing that can happen. But you will say to me, an object does not need to intend harm to be harmful. True, I respond, but I'm arguing that 6174 is not a harmful object. It is simply an object through which some individuals can be exposed to the dangerous realization that they are infinitesimally small. Think about time for a moment. Time is the vector through which many deadly mediums affect humankind. Disease on its own does not kill a man, but the realization of a disease by way of time can have a deadly effect on humans. But time does not kill those humans, disease does, just in a roundabout way via the channel that is time. 6174 does not kill anyone. It is simply an object whose existence causes viewers to realize, and perhaps even begin to comprehend, aspects of their baseline non-anonymous reality that their human brains are not built to handle, namely distance and size. Distance and size are neither anomalous nor inherently dangerous. Metrics. They're just measurements, but humans are quite bad at dealing with measurements at the extreme ends of the spectrum. Atoms are just tiny and space is just huge. Sure, you can slap some numbers on them in light years and nanometers, but humans simply can't fathom sizes that small nor distances that large. 6174 merely breaks down that wall of incomprehension. 6174 is only a threat to humanity in that it will, on an extremely occasional basis, cause some unlucky soul to realize just how small they are and how monstrously large the rest of the world is. Any old priest could have a supreme crisis of faith that would stop his heart just as effectively. It's not too uncommon for shocking revelations to cause heart attacks or the like, and the newfound understanding of scale brought on by viewing 6174 should be treated no differently. Besides, if we get down to brass tacks, the likelihood of a man or woman looking at 6174 on accident is probably much smaller than the likelihood of a priest going to meet their maker because they suddenly decided for themselves that said maker does not exist. The O5s are so traumatized that understanding they can see something the size of an atom and the distance between them is nothing more than a mild annoyance. I can believe that from the O5 Council, yeah. In summation, 6174 is no more a threat to humanity than your average cliff is, or your average unexpected medical condition. As such, it should be given an object class of safe and largely left unmeddled with. I pass the floor to general debate. O5, all respect, but we have literally seen M, C, and D using this thing to kill people. How is that a safe object? Original 5. I expected that one of you might answer that question. M, C, and D have killed people with their own bones before. Do we label those bones as anomalous, or the means by which said bones kill their victim? Or do we label M, C, and D as anomalous and forget about the bones? Yellow 05. But you must admit that 6174 was the cause of death, and an anomalous death at that. Original 5. No, I do not have to admit that. 6174 was the vector through which a deadly realization came about in a person's mind. It was not their cause of death. That's just semantics. Don't you remember our decision about data expunged and related matters? More unrelated matters. Wait, it doesn't matter if this thing is natural or not, does it? It's an anomalous object. Even if the cause of death it brings about is technically one that could occur naturally. Yes, it is an anomalous object. However, its effect on humankind at large is no more severe than most naturally occurring objects or events, anomalous or otherwise. I'm not motioning that we stop treating 6174 as an object in need of containment. I simply am motioning that we classify it as safe and halt further meddling with it. It has sat snugly in the forest in Puerto Rico for who knows how long, and look, humanity has not suffered as a result. To quote our favoured saying, I'm sure that more people have been killed by vending machines than by SCP-6174. But beyond simple death counts, which we all know are not a helpful metric for this discussion, 6174 has never attempted to escape or done anything else but to exist. So as far as we know it simply has one visual effect that cannot be contained, and whose effects is inherently self-containing. Unless someone wears civilians survives noticing 6174 in their vision and we need to deploy cleanup operations, this object is relatively safe and essentially safe-containing. Or what about the possibility that the object is reality anchor of some other variety, or perhaps a dimensional anchor in reference to baseline properties such as distance or size? I remember reading report back in the on the possibility that 6174 was a reality anchor built by a bygone civilization, akin to Scranton's more recent work. Nothing ever came of that report if memory serves, which it always has. Should we not keep the research rolling on this thing to see if we can't ascertain the object's origins for certain one way or another? I'm glad you brought that up. In my mind, the danger of poking this particular bear outweigh any possible benefits on so doing. If the object is in fact the result of some technological advancements beyond our current understanding, then we will have no doubt eventually make those same technological advancements ourselves without its help. On the other hand, given the small chance of 6174 is currently functioning at some form of reality anchor, and poking and prodding that we do the object could cause an actual end of the world scenario, I see the possible benefits being far overshadowed by possible losses. This thing has been there for over 5,000 years. I don't see much reason to interrupt whatever it is that has been up to this whole team, even if that is just existing. You always want to advocate not poking the bear, but that's not always been a positive feature. Remember, unrelated matters. Unrelated matters. Expunge the bear has a speaking party 4 times. Data expunged harm to ongoing operations. We've come full circle now with this argument, so let's put the matter to a vote. State the motion again. I motion that we classify SCP-6174 as a safe class anomaly and severely limit any and all further research or meddling that be done in relation to it. Voting begins now. End log. Vote count. 2 absent, 2 nays, everyone else yay. Verdict. Motion carried. 6174 was reclassified as a safe class anomaly, with all invasive research to its nature and functioning suspended indefinitely pending any further reapproval by 05. Document 17. 05 memo detailing the reclassification of 6174 as safe. From the office of 05, SCP-6174 has hereby been reclassified as safe, effective immediately. In light of recent developments, 6174 has been deemed fitting of the object class of safe, effective immediately. This decision is a result of careful consideration, and all relevant entities were consulted during the deliberative process. Any records, physical or digital, entertained Project YNH are to be submitted to RACER for archival purposes. All personnel are working on Project YNH will be contacted shortly by their liaisons to expedition this process. Hey, your voice is going. Same. Though if I start bickering, it's like the Necron and such often dehumanized entities suddenly becoming so humane. Yeah. Alright, that is it. That is the last of that one. That will be the last of the SCP stream as well. We've overrun by about 20 minutes. That's completely fine. I will take a very, very quick be right back break, during which time I will put on a bit of music and I will set about setting up the PlayStation 5 and I will make that tea. Thank you very much for that, Nia. I'll be back in like a few minutes. It won't be long. It'll also serve as a good, clear editing point between the things. The final SCP stream. Sorry, no, the final SCP of the stream. So I'll take that. There we are. Hands on. So yeah, I will be back fairly shortly. Did I just... No, I did not. Turn on. So, oh, I opened up the wrong thing. Yeah. I'll get some music up, and then we'll go into a horror stream to, you know, make up for Horror Mondays and the fact that we have 2 absentees from the Sneaky Dragons, so we're not going to be doing Payday. YouTube. Search Marcos Sound. I really enjoy the story time streams, Mark. Good, glad. I've got no idea what to put up. I really don't. Ah, that'll do. Let's just get the little text thing into chat ready. Boop. Boop. This song is going to be completely unrelated to what's going to be streamed. Entirely unrelated. There'll be no more SCP readings, but no more SCPs. True. Yeah, so I will be back in just a few minutes. Until then, thank you all very much for coming along, for your support. Special shout outs for this part of the stream go to Thyrus for the 4-month resub, very much appreciated, and to the wonderful Lydia for the raid, very much appreciated. And hello and welcome to the raiders who came along and who stayed. Yep, I will be back in just a few minutes, and we will be going into some horror streaming. Let's see. Mount, do you like Spyro games? The style of them? The style of them, yes. Yes, I do. So I'll be back fairly shortly. Well.